Well, welcome to UNSW Canberra Oval at Manuka for round 20 action here on NEAFL TV. The Canberra Demons hosting Aspley in a match that has some implications for the makeup of the NEAFL finals, particularly as far as Aspley are concerned. My name's Eddie Williams. Alongside me is Chris Coleman. Chris, the Canberra Demons' final home game for the finals. They're a mathematical chance of making the top six, but it's very, very unlikely, while Aspley today really trying to lock down their spot in the top four.
Absolutely. They're two words that no football team likes to hear. You're a mathematical chance of staying in the finals hunt. It means you need a lot of luck to go your way. But the Canberra Demons, first things first, worry about what they do today. Win the game today. They currently sit 7th on the ladder, 6 wins, 1 draw, 9 losses, and a percentage of 93.9. They're 2 games behind Sydney Uni and a massive percentage barrier behind them as well. Sydney Uni have about a 10% percentage mark over the Canberra Demons. But we've seen funny things happen in football before. Let's not forget, though, Aspley, they're still mathematically a chance of jumping into the top 2. Sure, they need a lot of luck. They need Sydney to stumble. They need Southport to stumble twice. But Aspley sit 9 wins, 7 losses in 4th. Percentage of 127.2, which is the second best percentage in the comp. So they can turn it on, and they'll be looking to do that today. So with so much at stake, last chance saloon. Desperate sides do funny things in football, Eddie, and we might just see some sides really give it everything today.
Now, the Demons are coming off the bye after that disappointing loss to Sydney Uni up at Blacktown. Aspley lost to the Swans by 6 goals last week. Aspley has won its past 2 matches against the Canberra Demons, including an 80-point win at Vauxhall Oval back in round 13. Canberra did beat the Hornets by 33 points up at South Pine Sports Complex round 12 last year. That was their only ever win against Aspley. A few milestones to make note of this afternoon. We'll make note of them as the game goes on, including one of the Aspley players making his return from a broken leg. Brad Dale, keep an eye out for him in the number 35 jersey. His first game of the season after breaking his leg last year. Chris Coleman to start the match here at Manuka.
Indeed, it's a very nice day here at Manuka. Not a great deal of wind around. The ruck battle today, well, a very different shape to it. And we see Pake starting in the ruck for Canberra, gets the best of it, but it's all yellow and brown through the middle of the ground as Jonathan Freeman takes the ball, taps it out towards what's going to be a very crowded wing on the grandstand side today with the off-centre circle. Kick forward from James Ives now, and it's the Aspley side going into attack. Now Luca Mason has it almost over the boundary line, gets the hand pass away, but keeps the ball in play, and the Canberra Demons get the rebound, but only momentarily as Hardy unable to control the pill, and it comes back to Aspley. Ives gets his second possession in a matter of minutes, puts it inside 50, and we might just get our first shot on goal here. That looks like Jordan Hayden, it is, and he'll be kicking from, just outside 50 on about a 40-degree angle.
They're the second best team in the competition when it comes to scoring from turnovers, Aspley. Let's see if they can score here.
Well, he's put it up to the top of the square. There's no breeze, so we know that he can kick for about 47.5 metres on the fly, Eddie, as the mark's taken in the goal square for the Canberra Demons. It looks like Highmore it is, and he'll bring the ball back into play and go around the open side.
So the Canberra Demons, I reckon they're going to take the game on today. They've got nothing to lose. The kick is down the line for Riley Corbett, back in the team, replacing the injured Josh Maynard, the ruckman who got injured in that match against Sydney Uni a couple of weeks back. They also have lost their captain, Aaron Bruce, to a fractured arm. So a number of Canberra players unavailable this week. That sees Osborne, Spina, Corbett and Kanash all back into the side. As Aspley goes forward again, the kick is towards half forward. It's off hands. The ball's on the ground. Comes inside 50. Evans is there for Canberra. He knocked it onto House. House is dispossessed. Evans keeps on going. It's spilled out there to Freeman for Aspley, but now cut off again. Canberra get out of trouble with a kick that finds, looks like that might be Hardy, who gives it off to Martin. Martin swung round, tries to give it back to Hardy. Hardy's caught. He gives the hand pass off to Osborne. Osborne kicks down the line, gets Canberra working towards half forward. They're outnumbered, but they do have the footy, and they've got a man on his own inside 50, as he so often is, Harry Carr. He just can't keep it in. He likes to do the spectacular around goal. He couldn't do it that time. We'll get a boundary throw in near the right behind post for Canberra. Scores level inside the opening couple of minutes of this match.
Would have indeed been spectacular from Carr if he'd been able to keep the ball in play. He would have had to go around the outside of the behind post, regather and score. Not that that's beyond him, by the way. We've seen him do some remarkable stuff across the course of this season. Ball back in play, but we've got a bit of push and shove in the ruck contest, and the free kick will be going the Canberra Demons' way. They'll get a shot on goal, and you'd imagine from here it'll be a fairly easy one. The question is, who's going to wind up with the pill?
It's that man, Harry Carr.
There we go. He'll line up, This is certainly about as far as you can get from the spectacular, I think, for Harry Carr. He'll be 35 out, 45-degree angle, no breeze to speak of. Goes with the right foot, low trajectory kick, and, well, there you go. You talk the guy up and... Oh, boy, didn't take long for the commentators' curse to strike. It's a point, though, for Canberra. They take the early lead, 3 minutes gone. They're up by 1.
Interesting to see those ruck combinations for the Canberra Demons. As we mentioned, their main ruckman, Josh Maynard, is out with injury. They've brought Riley Corbett into the side, but it was Alex Paik who started in the ruck, and it was Harry Carr doing the ruck at that contest inside 50. Aspley have worked the ball almost to the wing. It's taken by Matthew Payne. He's dispossessed. Crowd wanted holding the ball. The umpire called play on. In goes Blake Nellis. He's wrapped up. We'll get a ball up just in front of the Aspley interchange bench this afternoon. Keep an eye out on Matt Payne. He's been in great form, averaging 29 disposals, 7 clearances and 7 inside 50s per game over the past month. And Canberra's Mitch Maguire has been in arguably even better form, averaging 35 disposals and 8 clearances over his past 4 matches. Aspley get the ball beyond halfway. Tom Highmore goes up. He led his side onto the ground this afternoon, Highmore, in the absence of Aaron Bruce. He couldn't tag the intercept mark that time. We'll get another boundary throw in, this time in front of the Canberra Demons interchange bench. In fact, it's a free kick for some contact off the ball, and Sam Martin ends up with the footy. So the Demons are up and about. They looked in good spirits in their warm-up. They've got nothing to lose today, and showing a little bit of fight early, the Canberra Demons. Martin goes long. Fall couldn't drag down the mark. It's spilt to Hardy. Hardy is taken in a 2-man tackle. He knocks the ball free. Smout gets some sort of a kick away. It ends up back inside the contest, and we'll get another ball up eventually, still near the Aspley interchange bench.
Plenty of push and shove going on there. Very willing contest early in this one. So we wait to see where the ball up goes. It goes down towards Alex Paik, taps it over his own head, but that doesn't achieve a great deal. Connor Owen Orban gets a hurried kick into the pack, and Smout continues the hurried work for the Demons. Now it's in the hands of Ives for the Hornets, but only for a second. Goes free to Vardaniga. Puts the ball into attack. There's nobody home. It'll bounce around. Chaos ball for a moment. Lipscomb first man to it for Aspley Hornets, but then there's plenty of players joining him, and the ball over the boundary line for a throw in, about 8 around from the goals at the northern end of UNSW Canberra Oval here at Manuka. Ball comes back into play. And flying into the ruck contest, running in from quite a distance, was Jake Spencer. Probably got the best of it as well, and there's plenty of Hornets jerseys around as the clearing kick comes in the direction of Ives. He gets in front of Vardaniga, picked away by, I think it might have been Mason for the visitors. Now they're going around the grandstand wing again. There's nobody to go to further up the ground, so it'll have to be a stop and wait for Connor Stackelberg. And he has it there. Connor and his brother Cody both playing for the Aspley Hornets today. This is Connor. Goes around onto this grandstand side. And can I say well done to the teams for actually deciding to play some grandstand side footy. We've had a lot of footy here at the big ground of Manuka on the far side through the course of the year. This is luxury for us. Owen Orban puts the Demons back in towards attack, and Alex Smout, who would have leather poisoning at the end of this season, takes an easy mark, sends it up towards Mitch Hardy, overruns it, turns around, 2-on-1 contest. Ives is one of the tacklers. I think Dawson is the other one. And the umpire says you didn't have a chance to get rid of it. I'm inclined to agree there too. It was sort of held up in the air, basketball style, and it's another ball up.
We've seen those paid at different times throughout this season. We get a ball up just outside 50 for Canberra. Spencer wins the hit out, but his opposite ruckman in Paik took the clearance. The kick was partially smothered. It makes its way inside 50 for Canberra. Hardy knocks it on to Swan. Swan gets the kick away, but it's turned over. Only for a moment, though, because Baker intercepts. He dishes off. Now Moline kicks into the pocket, and Jordan Harper takes the mark, and he'll go back and have a shot on goal.
That's good short game footy from Canberra, actually keeping the eyes low, looking around for who's out there, who's available and who's in space. Moline, he's had a very good year for Canberra this year, really settling into this NEAFL level of footy coming across in the Riverina. And this young man, Harper, well, he knows how to kick a footy. Shouldn't have too many problems from here, Ed.
He kicked a bag in that loss to Sydney Uni a few weeks back. 3 goals in that match. This time, he misses to the right. Chris, you've done it again. The Demons 2 behinds. Aspley yet to score. We've just ticked past 7 minutes in the opening quarter.
I'll sneak off to the back of the box and start packing my bags before they ask me to leave for putting the moz on too many players. They come around the grandstand side now to Aspley. Looks like Lawrence has it for them. Who's doing the jig for Canberra? That's Reece Pollock trying to put him off and see if they can get the ball back. And it almost paid off there. The short ball, wobbly kick to Liam Dawson. He has it. Goes back inboard now as they switch play to the outer side of Manuka Oval. Who's that over there? Tom Belch is his name. And he goes left, goes right, then puts the ball on the boot up towards the AFL sponsors logo. Finds Arnold. Arnold goes by right foot further into the forward line. Not sure who's wound up with it there. I think it might have been Batchelor, Brandon Batchelor. But again, a turnover. Canberra showing plenty of willingness in defence. He's going to run too far, is Baker. No, he gets away with it. It goes down towards Pake. Pake has to pick it up off the turf. Goes by his right foot to outside 50. Target was Powell. Powell gets a second crack at it, but it comes back Aspley's way again. Hayden has it. Right foot. It wobbles away from the behind post towards the goal. Punch through and, it stays in play, in fact. This is going to be very interesting as we see Freeman has it. Freeman then tackled, pushed over the boundary line. It'll be a throw-in. Deep in attack for the Aspley Hornets.
An entertaining, if low-scoring start to this match. We'll get a boundary throw-in, forward pocket for Aspley. They're yet to score. The Demons are 2 behinds. We're approaching 8.5 minutes in the opening quarter as the boundary umpire just waits for everyone to get set. It'll be Pake going up against Jake Spencer, the former Melbourne Demon in the ruck. Spencer starts in front, but Pake won his way to the front and palmed it down with one hand. He couldn't find a teammate. The ball comes now to Spencer. He dished it off there to Craven. Craven's kick to the top of the goal square came towards Highmore, ends up in the behind post. And we'll get a boundary throw in. That's a wobbly old behind post.
It's a wobbly post, isn't it?
At the Manuka Shops end of the ground. It's still wobbling. Lucky Lee Matthews wasn't in that contest. We might have had to go and get a new one. It is really struggling, that Manuka Oval behind post. We get a throw-in right next to it. I hope it doesn't distract the boundary
How many times have you
umpire.
watched that electrifying 80s DVD, Eddie?
I haven't, but I know of it, Chris. As Spencer slaps it down into the corridor. Good defensive pressure here by the Canberra Demons. We get another stoppage inside 50 for Aspley, directly in front of their goal, 30 metres out. The ball in a dangerous position as the umpire throws it up again. Pake and Spencer go at it. It was slapped away. But the hand pass will come now to Liam Dawson. Dawson kicks to the top of the square. Sitting back as he so often does is Tom Highmore, taking another intercept mark, and he'll be marched forward 50 metres.
Well, this is good free real estate for the Canberra Demons. They lead by 2 points, 9.5 minutes gone here. So as you said, Eddie, low scoring but entertaining. Plenty of physicality around, so a bit of push and shove as well earlier between Reece Pollock and Jack Lipscomb from the Aspley Hornets. But now we're back inside the forward 50 for the Canberra Demons. That'll be about the fourth inside 50, I reckon, for the Demons. Eddie will check that. It is the fourth, and they've got just 2 behinds to yield for it. But a ball up now to take place, 48 out from the goals for Canberra. Pake comes in. Probably got the first hand on it, but the pack forms straight over the top, stacks on the mill, and in comes umpire Nick McGuinness to ball it up. Nick McGuinness in 7 today, Sam Nipris umpire in 9, and Aaron Langdon in 24. They're the men in the lime green NEAFL umpires jerseys today. Ball going back into attack for the Canberra Demons, so that'll be the 5th inside 50 for them. Bounces over the top of Jordan Harper. Pack sees the ball over the boundary line, and a throw-in to take place about 30 around from the Canberra goal.
So it'll be thrown in front of the corporate tent on a day of milestones for the Canberra Demons. Jack Powell playing his 50th game, and the final home game for Sam Martin and Ben Helse, who have announced their retirement from NEAFL football during the week. Of course, one match to go after this for the Demons. They head up to Queensland next weekend to take on Redland, as we see the ball go out of bounds between wing and half forward for Canberra, just in front of the hill, and I was sitting on that hill last Friday night
in the snow.
As snow fell. Fortunately, Aspley has brought the Queensland weather to Canberra this weekend. It's a sunny day, looking for a top of 17 degrees, and would you believe it, 20 degrees in Canberra tomorrow. At the moment, it's 14. The apparent temperature a little lower than that, about 9, but still a much warmer day than it was when the Giants took on the Hawks at this venue 8 days ago. Aspley with an open forward line. There's no one in it. Can anyone get there? The ball's bobbling around. Trying to pick it up there was Payne. He wheels onto the left boot. Will it bounce through? It bounces backwards and then it bounces through for a behind. So no one able to find the goals through the first 11.5 minutes of this match. Aspley are on the scoreboard through that behind to Matthew Payne. They are on 1 point. The Demons lead with 2 behinds.
Payne's ball pitching like a Nathan Lyons special, turning almost 90 degrees, but it's a big turnaround here, as the kick-in has gone horribly awry, and it's gone straight.
I think that might be Batchelor.
To Batchelor in his green and blue boots. Big time of year for the Batchelor on TV, of course. Let's see if Brandon Batchelor can make it a big day for himself here and put the Aspley Hornets in front. A little bit of a skip and jump on the way through. It's got the distance. Does it have the accuracy? Alas, no. We've had 4 scoring shots. They've all been behinds for today. 12.5 gone here, and it's 2 points apiece at UNSW Canberra Oval at Manuka.
So the Demons, they'll be looking for a much more accurate kick-in on this occasion as Sam Martin, one of those retiring players, darts into the pocket, goes long towards the 50-gamer in Powell. It was knocked away from him. Carr was second to the ball, had to lay a tackle, saw it out of bounds. And we'll get another throw-in out there in front of the hill here at UNSW Canberra Oval. 2 points apiece, approaching the 13-minute mark of the opening quarter. As the umpire throws the ball back into play, it's Harry Carr going up in ruck for Canberra at that stoppage. He did pretty well. Damon's just trying to get the ball clear. They should be able to do so eventually. The ball spills free. It's in the middle of the ground. Comes back now to Vardaniga, who gets a long kick towards half forward to a 1-on-2. Knocked down there by Dawson for Aspley, but spills Canberra's way. Tom Fall will be chasing this one in the pocket. He's putting on a big sprint, Tom Fall. And it's through for yet another behind. The Aspley defender heard the footsteps. He was under pressure. He took it through. And Canberra lead by that behind.
I don't think I'd like to hear Tom Fall's footsteps behind me when I've got the ball. He's a big man. And certainly knows how to get physical when he needs to. Quick restart comes from the Hornets. They go around the grandstand side. Flying for it was Freeman. Tapped it to his own advantage, but there's too many blue and yellow jerseys down there. Reece Pollock throws the ball onto the left foot, more in hope than anything else. It goes in towards the direction of Fall. He can't do anything with it. Corbett tries to punch it free. Tackle is laid. Ball is underneath the bottom of the pile. And once again, ball up to take place. What are we, 25 out, 45-degree angle? Great to see some of the AFL game markings have survived the snow last week, by the way, Eddie. As we see now, we're trying to go for it in there was, I think, Nellis for the Hornets, but his tap from the ruck contest sees the ball towards the boundary line, and again, plenty of players helping it over the line, and it'll be a throw-in, again, about 10 around from the Canberra goals. 14 and a half minutes gone here. We're yet to get a major on the board. 3 points to 2 is the scoreline. We did say it'll be a desperate game of football this afternoon. I thought we'd see a slightly more high-scoring desperate game, but at the moment, defence wins the day as James Nellis takes it for the Demons, for the Hornets rather, sends the ball into the centre square where it's pounced upon by William Murphy, his blonde hair shining in the Canberra sun. Now it goes towards Daniel Henderson. He's got plenty of time to go for a run. Instead, decides to put the ball into the vacant paddock and picks out about the only Canberra player around down there. Was it Martin who got the mark? House who got the mark. There we go. So they go around the far side. Now that would be, is that Hardy on the far side of the ground? They're a long way from us at the moment, but it's been turned over again. And it's the Hornets who'll come up with it. They've got plenty of options. I'll tell you who's looking to get on his own is Spencer, and he is now on his own. If they come diagonally across the centre square, they'll get to him. Lawrence has it at the moment. He's still got Spencer on his own on a 45-degree angle. Hasn't looked this way, though. They're going to keep going on the far side of Marnica. Ball goes over the head of the contest, but there was a bit of a push in the back or a chop of the arms. And it'll be another kick coming for the Hornets. Kick taken by Arnold. Goes for the short option. They come now further into the attacking 50. Punched away. And again, Canberra strong in defence on the rebound, but there's nobody beyond halfway for them. Corbett was the target, couldn't do anything, tapped it down, got it into the path of Swan. Swan then gives it to Carr. Carr decides to bypass the traffic, sends the ball down towards the forward line. There's nobody there. It's going to bounce and bounce and bounce. From where do you reckon he's kicked that? About 95 metres, I reckon that's gone in the end on about 7 or 8 bounces. And, Canberra, the ball stays inside their forward 50 by courtesy of a throw-in.
It is a big ground, Marnica Oval. Similar dimensions to the MCG. It doesn't feel as big, I guess, because it doesn't have that stadium feel, but the playing surface itself is certainly a big one by NEAFL standards as we get a boundary throw in. Corbett and Spencer in the ruck. Corbett starts in front. Spencer in the end gets in front. Neither ruckman really got a hand on that. It's spilled to Harper, who snaps towards goal, but it bounces through for another behind. So a couple of behinds to the former Canberra co-captain Jordan Harper in this opening quarter. The Demons lead by 2 behinds. They're on 4. Aspley's on 1. That nearly was a gift to the 50-gamer Jack Powell. He just couldn't reel it in. The Hornets have worked it out to Spencer. He kicks to the wing. The kick cleared the pack there. House got to his feet. He allowed his teammate in Martin to come in and take the footy. He kicks across the body to a 1-on-2. Powell couldn't get there, and Daniel Henderson, a Sunshine Coast product, takes the mark. He kicks into the corridor. Things might open up a little here for Aspley. The mark's taken by Lipscomb. Lipscomb goes to the outer side of the ground there, as Aspley now look to use the wing. Murphy takes the mark on centre wing. He's on the Toyota Hilux logo, which has survived last weekend's AFL match. He went inboard to Hayden. Hayden couldn't complete the mark. That allows Mitch Hardy in. Hardy, treading water, going backwards, feeds the hand pass back, and now the Demons will look to use that outer side of the ground. The kick was intended for Vardaniga, but it cleared him, and now Aspley will go forward again.
They do. They go inside the forward 50. Target there, I think it's Freeman. He's dispossessed. Ball bounces a couple of times and trickles over the boundary line. Throw-in will take place just outside the forward 50.
Free kick here, I reckon, going Aspley's way.
There we go.
It'll go to Jonathan Freeman.
So Freeman, well, the ball was in his possession. He got dispossessed. Umpires obviously said that something illegal in said tackling attempt. Trying to think the last time I saw a player kick a goal from this part of Manuka. It's about the hardest point. The pocket's not terribly deep. He runs in just a little bit and decides not to go for the shot on goal. Comes off the hands of Martin, bounces around a little bit. Grab taken in there by William Murphy for the Hornets. And he's tackled. Goes to ground. Ball up about 3 metres diagonally off from the end of the goal square. Wait to see who can come away with it. At the moment, nobody. We'll get another ball up. So we've moved 2 metres. It's going to be a very slow day of football if we keep getting that. We haven't had a goal yet, and we're nearly 19 minutes gone. In fact, the clock on the scoreboard has stopped. So there we go. It's finally woken up again. It had stopped at 18:44 for about 9 seconds, Eddie. It's finally picked up and showing a movement again as we get to the 19-minute mark. The ball's going to come back to the fullback position for Canberra, and Paik will take a little bit of a hand pass, and now they'll work it around the grandstand side. Maguire has it. He can run all day here. He's got one bounce, and that's all he takes. Pops it on towards Vardaniga. Has it. Could have given it back to Maguire. Elected not to. Instead, they go with Harper. Harper goes backwards to go forwards. He gives it to Richardson. Richardson has to sit and wait. Goes over to the other side of the ground, and now that might be Osborne. It is. Sends the ball to... that's what he's got, rather, Osborne. Now he goes further forward. Waiting to see if anyone can take advantage of it, but it's been turned over again, and it's going to be the Hornets who come away with it. No, Canberra getting in. Hardy and Evans both in there over the play of the ball. Free kick has been awarded for a push in the back, and it is going to Evans. Now, I know Evans changed his haircut early in the season, but you've noticed he's let it grow out a little bit, and he looks more and more like Mitch Hardy again as the season progresses. Ball now in the forward line for Canberra. Almost a throw from Fall. Tapped away then by... the Hornets, as we see them trying to get it out to get some sort of a clearance out. Very scrappy football at the moment. Evans in again, slung around, gives it back to the opposition side. There's no one forward of this couple for the Hornets. Connor Stackelberg has it. He'll have to wait for some sort of support. The support finally is forthcoming, as it's taken by Cody Stackelberg. He's taken into the ground, and he'll get a free kick on the far wing of Manuka Oval here. And now the flood is on, and plenty of players making their way forward. And it's Stackelberg to Stackelberg, Cody to Connor. Connor has the mark, 70 from goal.
There are stacks of Stackelbergs at Manuka today. Connor Stackelberg kicks towards full forward. Demons get back in numbers, and Tom Highmore with another excellent intercept mark. The umpire has paid Tom Highmore another 50-metre penalty as well. So for the second time this afternoon, Tom Highmore with the intercept, and he then gets marched forward 50 metres, and that hopefully will open things up for this match. We're into time on. We're yet to see a goal. Highmore kicks to Moline. Moline in the middle of Manuka Oval. Kicks it for Hardy. Knocked away from him. Chasing after it now is Osborne. Osborne couldn't pick it up, but Maguire gets there in support. The umpire pays a free for a hold, though. It'll go Aspley's way, so the Demons will lose the ball. It'll be a free to the Hornets between wing and half back for them. And it'll be Payne to take it. He gets it moving quickly with a short kick for the big ruckman in Jake Spencer. Spencer gives the hand pass off to Bolch. Now the kick comes inside 50. No mark. Demons get there with numbers. Richardson with the ball. Gives the hand pass off. There it might have been Smout. Smout's kick comes to Vardaniga. Vardaniga kicks to the wing. It's in the direction of Harper. He was caught behind, though. Lipscomb takes the intercept on centre wing for Aspley. They trail by 2 points. Lipscomb called to play on. Goes with a right foot kick towards half forward. Hornets with numbers at this contest, but Swan did well. Got in front. Won the footy. Kicks to a one-on-one. Harry Carr was in front. He was just out-muscled there, Carr, but he recovered pretty well to lay a strong tackle on Lawrence. Fans again want holding the ball, but the umpire will come in and throw it up between wing and half forward for the Demons.
Very tough contest here at the moment. Plenty of physical stuff on and off the ball. 22 and a half minutes gone at Manuka. Ball tossed up. Pake into the ruck against Spencer. Pake gets it off the carpet. Then it goes to Swan. Swan charges through. Ball's taken there. I think it might have been Payne who got it before he was absolutely monstered in the tackle. Good tackle laid there too by Hardy. And Hardy will get the free kick. Once he gets the football, took a moment for him to actually get the ball back. Too far from home to score. He'll go round onto his right foot, put it in towards the hot spot. And it comes off the hands of the Hornets in the pack, and it'll be Balch, the man who gets the chance to bring the ball away, but he can't do anything with it. A little bit of a push in there as well, as we see him go over the boundary line. I think it was Kanash who was helping him with it. Ball will be thrown in, 25 around from the Canberra goals. Well, we get our first major for the afternoon from this foray inside the Canberra forward 50. Ball hangs in the air. Pake could have got a free kick there, was taken a little bit high in the contest. Hardy came in to shark it. Only got it as far as Henderson. His kick only goes as far as, I think it was Smout, sent the ball further forward, but not too far. Plenty of smothering going on. Now we're 40 out from the goals, directly in front of the Canberra goals, but again the umpires are going to come in and take possession of it. Kanash has been very busy in the last couple of minutes. Last man up for the Canberra Demons. Ball up, about to take place.
Pake and Spencer. Spencer knocks it down. Couldn't find a target. The ball's still under the pack. Swan might have got a hand pass out. Now it's swung towards the Canberra Demons goal square, and again it bounces away from goal. It bounces over the boundary line. That took quite the leg break, and we get a throw in near the left behind post for the Canberra Demons, going to the Manuka swimming pool end in this opening quarter. And, well, this could be a percentage booster for the Demons. They're batting at 200% at the moment. It's 4 playing 2 as the umpire throws the ball back in. Pake and Spencer. Spencer wins it down decisively. Powell tried to shark it. We get another big pack over the footy, and forget about 6-6-6. We've got 18. They're all in the forward half of the ground at the moment. Every single player on both sides. Spencer wins another hit out. Powell again trying to shark it. It comes to Andrew Swan, and Swan kicks another behind. The Demons have 5 of them. Aspley have 2. And it's the Canberra Demons with, a quite decisive 3-point margin in this match.
They are more than double their opposition score. They've got five, well, actually 4 scorers, because one of those behinds is a rushed behind. The Hornets, though, they bring it out onto the chest of Spencer. Can't control it, but does well to get it to a teammate. But the kick is then profligate, would be the word from Jack Lipscomb, and he sends it over the boundary line on the full. So Canberra, they'll send it back inside the forward 50. They'll do that via Vardaniga. He's being told to come back. Can't run in that way. You've got to go this way, sir. And now, so Vardaniga does so. Goes in. Ball lands about 20 short of goal. Plenty of Hornets jerseys in there, so the clearing kick is executed, but a good grab on the chest over his shoulder by Connor Owen Orban, and he's dropped the eyes, spotted a man in there.
Richardson.
Centre half forward, and it is Guy Richardson who'll take the shot.
Well, finally a bit of space opened up there. Good vision. It was an excellent mark back with the flight by Connor Owen Orban, the intercept, and then he saw Guy Richardson in a bit of space at half forward. Directly in front he'll kick from. Been playing more of his footy in defence this season, so let's see what Guy Richardson has with this shot on goal.
Well, we've seen the forwards unable to score a goal today, so let's see if fullback can come and show them what to do. Kicks from 48 out directly in front. The goal umpire skips a little bit across to the left, but I don't think it makes any difference. We've got our first major for the day. See, don't talk the guy up, and that's how it works. And it's Guy Richardson who gets the first goal of the day. We're deep into time on in the first quarter, but it's the Canberra Demons 1-5-11, Aspley Hornets 0-2-2, 26 gone.
That's one of the biggest cheers we've heard all season at a Canberra Demons home game. A decent crowd in here for their final home game of the season, and I think they're pretty relieved to see their side finally notch up the first goal of the match, and suddenly a 9-point lead to the Demons starts to feel about right. They are ahead on the inside 50s at 13-10, and they've created 6 scoring shots from those 13 inside 50s. They just haven't been able to capitalise enough to turn more of them into goals. Maybe that goal from Guy Richardson can kickstart things a little for the Canberra Demons. We get a whistle here. I think perhaps just a notification on the 666, or in fact the blood rule. I think looks like that is Tom Highmore, who's coming from the field with a little bit of claret perhaps, and Richardson, the goal kicker, comes back on. Don't know why he went off after kicking the goal. But Highmore comes off, Richardson's back on, we're set to go. And we're getting underway again in the centre with Spencer and Harry Carr going up in the ruck this time. plenty of makeshift ruck options for the Canberra Demons today. Not going in with a specialist ruckman after Josh Maynard was injured, and the Demons choosing to leave Luke Jamison out of this side. We're underway again in the middle. Spencer and Paik probably both got hands to it. It'll be the Hornets to try and get the clearance there through Hayden, but his kick was smothered. It squirts forward Canberra's way, but there are all Hornets chasing after the footy. Henderson got there first. He was taken high, and he'll get a relieving free kick off the back edge of the centre square.
There's plenty of players on this side of the ground calling for it, but again, persisting in the open side, bearing in mind the centre circle today is off-centre towards the main grandstand side, and now we've got a handover. So the ball's been given to Canberra. I was looking through the binoculars, Eddie. I don't know whether you saw what it was for behind play, but a good mark taken there, strong mark taken by Riley Corbett. Just set himself planted and said, no, I'm the tower. I'm going to put the arms up. You've got to try and knock me over, and they can't. He gets the mark, and more importantly, get the shot from about 30 out. Did you see what the free kick was for?
No idea, Chris.
Off the ball, obviously.
With Bruce and Maynard out, we've got Corbett and Kanash back in, so a couple of tools in this Demons forward line. They need to do that a bit more. Get it in quickly to the tools, and let's see what Riley Corbett can do.
Well, these are the ones they were practicing before the game, maybe a little bit further out than he'd normally take a practice shot from, but it goes through halfway up the posts, and Corbett gets his first goal, his team's second, and now the Canberra Demons, well, they have opened up a bit more of a deserving lead given the amount of possession they've had in this first quarter. They get their second, 2-6-18. The Demons will be Aspley 0-2-2. 29 minutes gone, first quarter at UNSW Canberra Oval at Manuka.
Well, after a stint out of the senior team, they'll be cheering in Ganmain, they'll be cheering in Grong Grong, they'll be cheering in Matong, because that is the club that Riley Corbett was recruited from. Ganmain,
they'll raise a pie at Ganmain. I've got to take you over there for a Ganmain pie sometime, Eddie. They're about the best pies. I could start a war here. They're about the best pies in country New South Wales at Ganmain.
It's a very controversial statement, Chris.
Just trust me on this. I've had several.
We're back in the centre again. Spencer and Carr go at it in ruck. The Demons will get another clearance through Smout. Fall flew, knocked it down. Running onto it, or trying to at least, is Swan. Paddled it forward. In comes Moline. Moline bursts through the traffic. Has one bounce. Has a second. He can close to 51, Lucas Moline. Kicks it to the top of the goal square. Corbett can't hold on, but he wins the footy and he kicks another one. And they'll be having another pie out at Ganmain. The Demons have got 3 in the opening quarter, and all of a sudden, they're out by 16 points.
They'll probably open a bottle of Lily Pilly wine at Leeton as well, because that's where you're just
Lucas
up the road.
Moline
That's where Lucas
from.
Moline's from. It's an all-Riverina special this afternoon here at Manuka as Canberra. Now, we've got this at, it's actually 3-5-23 Canberra. Aspley have 2 points and 30 minutes gone.
Well, they are a team with a big Riverina flavour. Chris, Mitch Hardy and Mitch Maguire recruited from the Riverina as well. And a lot of players, locally produced players here from Canberra, and others from surrounding parts of the region. So from the Riverina or from the Ovens and Murray League, like Jonathan Spina recruited from Lavington. And good to see these players coming into the NEAFL, taking the step up, trying to play their footy at a higher level and doing it pretty well this afternoon. Back in the middle, Spencer to go up in ruck again against Harry Carr. Harry Carr didn't bother going up in ruck that time.
No.
He decided it was a futile exercise, but they're going to win the clearance anyway. The hand pass was smothered there from Carr. He goes in again, and he might win a free for some high contact. Umpire was going to pay the advantage. The Demons decided not to take it, so Carr kicks it to Moline, the man from Leighton, wheels onto the right foot, kicks inside 50. Powell and Corbett were there. It was knocked away from them. And we'll get a boundary throw in inside 50 for the Demons, who are really starting to show some of their best footy.
I've had this idea for a long time. I'd love to go and do a tour of country footy grounds, take some footy fans out to places. And the Riverina would be a great place to do it, because you've got 3 leagues in that part of the world. You've got the Riverina, the Farrer League and the Hume League, all across southwest New South Wales. Oh, throw in there's the Picola League as well. Ball back in play, but it's with the Hornets at the moment, and that's Liam Dawson who puts the clearing kick in. Can't get it outside 50. Comes off the hands of the pack. Now, that might be Murphy. Sends the ball further around, off the hands of Sam Martin. Ball goes over the boundary line, and it'll be returning via the umpire. Where are we at? 32 minutes gone here.
Big day in that part of the world, Chris, with the dog on the tucker box being re-unveiled at Gundagai.
It got vandalised.
It did. Outrageous.
The people who did it owned up, and the dog was returned and unveiled today. Not sure if the Deputy PM was able to get there, as we see Lipscomb take the ball away now for the Hornets. Well, he tries to, puts it into the path of Mason. Pack forms once again. It's been one of those days. Every time the ball gets free, plenty of players come over the top of it as the siren sounds. Now, the scoreboard reads 3-6-24, but I've got 3-5-23. I'm going to stick with what I've got here, and we might actually stick with the umpires on our camera in a moment, because I reckon we'll get to see something you don't see often here, which will be the umpires are going to come together, and they'll signal up to the scorers that the score needs to be changed on the board. You don't see that often, Eddie. But we have 3-5-23 for the Canberra Demons, the Aspley Hornets 0-2-2. And while we wait for this to come together, something we got a little flyer for a couple of weeks ago, and I think this is worth mentioning, especially if you're a fan of the Canberra Demons or if you just want to help out footy in the nation's capital. The East Lake Football Club, who are the parent club for the Canberra Demons, they're actually forming the East Lake Football Club Foundation. It's a coterie group, if you like, and it means you get free entry to all sorts of games. You get a supporters pack and so on, but you get if they haven't sold them all at the moment, there'll be financial members getting corporate hospitality at the AFL games here at Manuka and so on. The East Lake Footy Club, they've got all sorts of details about their Trident membership, as it's called, via their website if you want to find out more about it. But you can check it all out, and there's even a phone number, I can give you that, 6228 0999. So there you go, 02 of course the area code, 6228 0999. But great to see them taking a step up, and maybe at halftime or three-quarter time we can talk about some of the other ideas that are being floated by the East Lake and Club and the Canberra Demons as ways to additionally boost the standard of this Canberra side, who are there or thereabouts in the NEAFL, but I think we all agree they need just that little bit of an extra kick along, and they've got a very different idea and a way to do that as well.
Yeah, they caused an upset in week one of the finals last season, the Canberra Demons. Their season isn't quite over yet. It'll take a bit of a miracle, but they've started strongly. The scoreboard's been corrected. At quarter time, it's the Canberra Demons 3-5-23, leading Aspley 1-3-9. Well, an eventful opening quarter at UNSW Canberra Oval at Manuka, and we've got some clarity for you on our scoreboard. At quarter time, we can confirm the Canberra Demons 3-5-23 lead Aspley 2 behinds. An impressive start to the match by the Demons, particularly in the last 10 minutes when they were really able to, get reward for their effort. And keeping an eye on the other match underway at Scottsdale Park, Redland 5-2-32 leads Sydney Uni 3-3-21 early in the second quarter there. The unlikely equation for the Demons to make the finals is for them to win both matches and for Sydney Uni to lose both matches, and for somehow the Demons to make up quite a big gap in percentage. They've made a decent start. Eddie Williams and Chris Coleman with you here in Canberra as we get a secondary restart in the middle of the ground. Canberra going to the right of your screen to the Manuka Shops end in this quarter, while Aspley will be going to the left of your screen to the swimming pool end. And on the now customary secondary restart here at a Canberra Demons game, Jake Spencer gets the best of the tap down, but again, a pack over the top. It's really being played very much at close quarters today's game. Neither coach, Kate Klemke or Daniel Webster, are able to really get their troops to get the ball out into the open spaces too much, so we'll get a third ball up. And this time, Paik probably gets the best of it. It goes down to Swan. Swan, driven into the turf, got the ball away. I think it was into the path of, was a Batchelor in there for the Hornets. Wait and see which way we're going here. We're going to get another ball up. So this is the fourth ball up, and we're not even a minute into the game, into the second term, but finally the ball comes clear of the centre square. It's with Maguire. Maguire then turns it around and he gives it across to a couple of teammates. Running onto it is Swan now. Swan bursts clear, takes a shot from just outside 50. Shepherding it through there was Riley Corbett. Well, he didn't have to so much as shepherd it through as watch it go over his head, but it goes just away to the right for yet another point. 3-6-24 the Demons will be. The Hornets 0-2-2. So the Hornets going straight up the middle with that kick in, which is marked by Luca Mason, a former Brisbane Lions Academy player. He goes to the wing. No one can take the mark. Guy Richardson, who kicked a goal in that opening quarter, chases after it, lays a tackle. The ball's on the ground. It's near the boundary line. It's kept in play. Jordan Harper with a look-away hand pass. Well, he probably needed to be looking because he's turned it over. Now Aspley with an opportunity to get the ball towards the wing. Demons get there in numbers. Baker puts his head over the ball. The umpire waits. Will eventually get a ball up just forward of the wing for Aspley, who trail by 22 points. We're ticking up to 2 minutes in this opening quarter. Ball up on the outer side of the ground, knocked down by Spencer into a little bit of space. Osborne tried to run onto it. He couldn't pick it up. Paik and Maguire went in hard. The ball goes over the boundary line, so we get another stoppage with the ball to be thrown in over in front of the hill, which is looking a little frostbitten, as you'd expect at this time of year. And as we mentioned, we had snow in Canberra last Friday. We could see a bit more snow this Monday, so we're enjoying the 17-degree top today while it lasts. Maguire with a clearance, as he's done a lot over the past month. Tried to get it towards Tom Fall, but he was just nudged in front there, Fall. And Aspley will get out of trouble through Dawson, who kicks across the ground. They've got the ball in the corridor here, Aspley, in the possession of Jackson Allen. He decides to go back towards that outer side. So they're just switching play. They're just trying to cut those angles here, Aspley. Trying to do something to open up the Canberra Demons, but they've opened up an opportunity for the Demons because the ball's being kicked straight to Tom Fall. He's probably too far out to score, although he's got Jordan Harper screaming towards the goal. That's where the kick goes. It's centimetre perfect, and Harper dribbles it home. The Demons have the opening 4 goals of the match, and they lead by 28 points. I reckon Kate Klemke, coach of the Canberra Demons, would just sit back with a smile on his face, maybe a slightly wry smile on his face at that. We've seen Canberra try that on a number of occasions this year, where they've just abandoned the defensive 50, moved their players upfield in the hope of the fast turnaround, but they've not been able to achieve that. Today, they got the turnaround, and it was a great piece of work by Harper to run down into the very, very open spaces of the forward 50 and convert the goal. And that was the clever thing. It was an intercept to Tom Fall, so a turnover, and both these sides are pretty good at scoring from turnovers, but the other forwards just allowed that space to grow, and none of the Aspley defenders went back to fill that space. It meant Jordan Harper could run in, a good kick from Tom Fall, and Harper, who kicked a couple of points in the opening quarter, he certainly wasn't going to miss out that time. We're underway again in the middle. Paik and Spencer. Spencer knocks it forward, tries to do his own roving, does pretty well, gets the hand pass forward. Now Aspley go inside 50. The ball bounces in the pocket. It'll just stay in play. Getting there for the Demons is Martin. He gives it off to House. House gets them out of trouble. The kick will bounce towards Lucas Moline, who just couldn't quite hold on. tried to knock it out there to Smout. Smout tries to give it to Baker. Baker feeds it back to Moline. Moline, a wobbly old kick that might end up okay for Pollock. He just couldn't quite judge it in the air. It was spiralling away from him. It bounces and goes over the boundary line. We'll get a throw in right in front of our commentary position.
Best view in the house for this one here on NEAFL TV, and thanks to our Bar TV crew for the great pickies once again. And once again, it is Pake up against Spencer in the ruck. Pake gets the tap down onto Maguire, who is moving at speed. Rugby union style up and under kick goes about 12 metres, bounces then about 15 off to the side, and it goes all in favour of the Hornets at the moment. But look out, here come the Canberra Demons. Fall, lays the tackle, absolutely smashes his man. Now, will this be holding the ball? No, it won't. The umpire says no prior opportunity. But if you reckon there's no feeling in this one, well, just ask Doug Lawrence about it, because he'll be feeling that bump from Tom Fall for about a week and a half. He gets to his feet. Spencer taps the ball down. I think he may have got something on it, but again, too many Canberra jerseys at the fall. Connor Owen Auburn tries to get a kick away. He's mown down. Trying to tap it forward there was Mason. Goes back in the Canberra direction once again, though. Stretching out an arm was Lipscomb for the Hornets. It's almost playing English Premier League soccer style at the moment as he bounces it from left foot to right foot, and the umpire will come in and retake possession for yet another ball up here at Manuka. Boy, there's plenty of feeling, and I almost felt that one from Tom Fall from up here. That was a big crunching tackle there on Doug Lawrence.
Cade Klemke, the Canberra coach, would have loved that. Only one kick so far from Tom Fall. It was a kick that set up a goal, but 4 tackles already, and that's the sort of forward pressure they want him to bring. If he's not getting a lot of possessions, if he can bring that pressure, that creates opportunities for his teammates. That's an excellent chase down and tackle by Jared Osborne. He caught the big ruckman. It was like the gazelle chasing after the giraffe. And Osborne wins a free kick. He's called to play on. Left foot kick towards half forward. Alex Pake is chasing there. He won't get there in time. No mark to Lipscomb for Aspley. It spills to Maguire. A long kick inside 50. Pollock was taken out of the contest, surely. And Reece Pollock will get a free kick and a shot on goal. In fact, it might be Jordan Harper again. It is.
Harper. Well, he showed that he's got no problems with kicking from short distance with his previous goal, which was from, maybe 3 metres out. This one, by degree of difficulty, then multiplies it out by about 3 times, because he'll be kicking for about 12 by the time he puts this on. But, yeah, just put himself in the front position, was manhandled out of the way. And, again, we're right behind this one as it rides towards the goal.
So the former co-captain who rejoined the club midway through this season steers that home. 2 goals in the quarter for Jordan Harper. And Canberra now open up a very handy 34-point lead.
They move on to 5-6-36. Aspley 0-2-2. 7 minutes gone here.
It's always the way, isn't it? You struggle a little bit throughout this season. This is a team that beat Canberra by 80 points earlier in the year. And when all hope is almost lost for making the finals, you're able to play with a bit of freedom. You've got 4 inclusions who are all looking to, I guess, state their case to stay in the side next week, to stay as part of the squad next season, or wherever they may be looking to go, whatever they may be looking to do. And there's a whole lot of energy around this Canberra Demons group. You could see it when they warmed up. They looked like they were having a bit of fun, and they're certainly having fun so far in this match with a 34-point lead.
I'm not sure what there is ahead for the Canberra Demons players once the season finishes, as we see a bounce that goes a long way out of the centre circle, and we'll get a ball up to restart in a moment. So for a lot of these Canberra Demons players, it's their last or second last game of the season, so they're really looking to go out with a bang and make sure that when discussions are held about who gets a run in the blue and gold next season, that their names are fresh in the selectors and the match committee's minds. Again, no real clear advantage off the bounce. I think it was Spencer who was taken to ground by Pake. It was, so we'll get another ball up.
And you've also got players, particularly Angus Baker, who are trying to put their names in lights ahead of the AFL draft.
And there'll be other players out there for Canberra as well who will be on highlight reels, who will have had their names go up in front of, who are perhaps going to get an invitation to the draft camp, as Baker has done, and players who are in the talk about the mid-season draft or about the AFL draft last year as well, as the ball comes back towards Spencer, and now it goes, it was chasing onto it, was Murphy, couldn't do anything with it, and they've turned it over, and once again, it's the Demons taking it now via Hardy. He goes back. finds, was it Osborne? Now they come back around, gets to Owen Orban. He goes on his outside, gets it towards Martin. Martin goes by foot inside the forward 50, and trying to get hold of it there was Kanash. Couldn't do anything with it, but at the fall of the ball, and he pops it onto the left foot, and he goes for the spectacular, and he misses once again. He's not having a great day in front of the big sticks, but Canberra, well, they're doing all right at the moment now. They're up to 5-7-37. Aspley 0-2-2. But yeah, you're right, Eddie. There'll be players here who would be a rough chance at getting the draft, and they just want to maybe just have a good game late in the year to show that at the end of a season they can still produce the goods and be worth another look or be worth a conversation in the lead up to the draft or the rookie draft. As Spencer has the ball for, shocking hand pass has gone to the path of Paik. I'm going to hand it over to you in a second, Eddie. Now Arnold has it. He gets tackled by Paik, and whatever the outcome is, Eddie Williams will call it for you.
The high forward hand pass, Chris, should be banned. Doesn't work. It's never effective. Paik wins the hit out, knocks it down to Smout, gets out of traffic, kicks inside 50 towards Fall, and he drags it in one-handed. He goes and he says, that's where the mark is.
Right there. I'm marking it right there. That's my mark. I want my spot. He's like Sheldon in The Big Bang Theory. That's my spot.
He's been heavily involved in this second quarter, Tom Fall, and he'll go back to try and kick his first goal. And look, I don't think Tom Fall will be drafted, but he did put his hand up at the mid-season draft, as did a number of other Canberra Demons players. And there's no doubt that these games are watched. Mitch Maguire was touted as a draft prospect last year, and a whole range of these players looking to put their names in lights. That's an excellent finish from Tom Fall. The Demons doing everything right this afternoon. They've opened up a 41-point lead. 3
goals in the first, 3 goals in the second. And Aspley yet to get the goal umpire to wave both flags this afternoon. 6-7-43 for the home side. The visitors 0-2-2. And we're only 11 minutes into the second term here.
And Aspley at the moment not looking like a top 4 NEAFL team.
They really are struggling here in Canberra this afternoon. And it's hard to work out why. I suppose in the end, it's you only get to play as well as the opposition let you, but the conditions here are perfect. We went for a short walk on the ground before the game today. It is in absolutely tip-top condition. There's very little breeze to speak of. It's a nice sunny day. It's maybe a little bit chilly for the Queenslanders, but it's not cold here by any stretch, not compared to some of the games we've had to call here in the past. And a change in the ruck there, Freeman moving into the ruck for the Hornets. It has had no change on their luck as the ball the clearance was won by Canberra, but it goes now into the forward line for the Hornets, and one of their best there in Murphy picks it up, sends the ball back into the centre square. Dangerous stuff there for Batchelor. He's got the ball. It's been pinned to him as he's tackled just outside of the centre circle. Fierce tackling here by the Canberra side. That was Lucas Moline executing on that occasion as he took Batchelor to ground. And the ball up to take place just forward of the circle for the Hornets as we see a kick out of the air. I think it was Craven who slung a boot at it, got it just outside of the square. Ball comes back into the square via Hayden. He sends his side deep into attack now. Off the hands of the pack, chasing in after it there was Spencer, who was resting down at the forward line. Can't do anything with it. It's in front of Connor Stackelberg. He can't control it. Ball goes over the boundary line. Throw in 50 metres around from the Aspley goals.
Was out off the knee. I think the tackling pressure has been the difference this afternoon, Chris. The Demons with marginally more disposals, but they lead the tackle count 38-19.
Wowzers.
They also lead the inside 50s 21-12. Aside from that, the stats fairly even. Aspley dominating the hitouts as you'd expect with Jake Spencer going up against a string of makeshift ruckmen, but it's been the pressure that Canberra have brought today. Every kick from Aspley is under immense pressure, and they just haven't been able to use the ball as well as they would have liked. The hit out is won there by Freeman. Now we've got a high kick. It's slapped on forward. Vardaniger's chasing after it. He's been busy so far this afternoon, Matt Vardaniger. He was the leading disposal winner in the opening quarter with 7. We'll get another boundary throw in. Inside 50 for the Hornets. A rare inside 50 for them in this second quarter. They're still trying to get on the scoreboard in terms of a goal. They've kicked just 2 behinds for the match. They win the hit out and the clearance again here. It's spilt back to Freeman. Then he was tackled. The kick comes forward. Sitting back is Highmore under a bit of pressure. Got the hand pass to Smout, who gives it back to Highmore. They worked that well there, the Canberra Demons. And they see a loose man on the outer side in the form of Mitch Hardy. Now Mitch Maguire gets things off and running with 3 bounces. He could have a fourth if he wants. He decides to kick into the corridor for Angus Baker, who's run forward from half back. He sees an open forward line. He has a couple of bounces, and Angus Baker misses to the left.
Probably should have taken another bounce, Baker. He had the time there, but again, maybe he was at about the limit. He had run a long way up the ground to get there. But it's another point for the Demons, 6-8-44. Aspley 0-2-2. And the ship very much in danger of sailing here for the Hornets. They're really struggling as they bring the ball back into play. Allen does so. Now, there was a bit of push and shove in there. That'll be a free kick. And it's going to be taken by Freeman after being pushed out of the contest, or before the contest was even on. Then he goes and kicks into the man on the mark. So then goes for the hand pass, because he's about to get 2 kicks on his stats sheet in a minute. But all he does is put a teammate under pressure. Quick tackle is laid, but again, too quick. No chance for the ball to be disposed of. And umpire Sam Nipris comes in to ball it up. Over on the outer side of UNSW Oval here at Manuka on Saturday afternoon, NEAFL footy. Canberra trying to get the ball away, and they'll do so now. There's only a couple of players inside the forward 50 for them. There's an extra man back for the Hornets, but the man underneath it in there has been absolutely cleaned up. I think it was Dawson was the man who got cleaned. No, it wasn't Dawson. It's Mason, rather, because Dawson's around on this wing waiting for it. It'll come to him in a moment because Allen has it, and now there is Dawson. He gets it, sends the ball back inside. And they've got a few men free. It'll come around the outside. Running around was Mason. He gets back onto the ball. Can go for a run. Elects not to. Sends it by his right foot. Inside the forward 50. Just outside. And a defensive mark taken again by the Canberra Demons. And they'll repel yet another attack. Wonder when it becomes a source of pride for Canberra that they'll start saying, OK, well, we've kept the other side goalless. Let's see how much longer we can do it for. Owen Orban was the tackle, was the target there, but Mason got in front, couldn't control the ball, came off his hands. He's asking where's the free kick for being pushed. But instead we see the ball getting over the boundary line, throw in to take place on the centre wing position, grandstand side. Ball comes back into play. Tap down into a pile of players. Underneath it is Allen, tries to pick it up, can't do anything with it. Runs back into the pack, and the ball is tossed towards the umpire.
So we get a ball up just inside our centre square, which is slightly off-centre this afternoon, I suppose trying to protect that centre wicket area here at Manuka Oval.
Now, you've picked a late change here. It must have been a very late change, Eddie.
Must have been. We've got Jack Stanley in the number 21, who was named as an emergency for this match. So a late inclusion there for Aspley. But the Demons doing all the attacking so far this afternoon. Guy Richardson hands it back to Vardaninger. Vardaninger with a left foot kick towards Andrew Swan. Swan will have to run onto it. He tries to gather. He does just inside the field of play. Swan kicks towards full forward. Hardy couldn't mark. Pollock the crumb. Pollock the goal. All clear. The Demons have 7. They lead by 48 points midway through the second term, and Aspley, who sit 4th on the NEAFL ladder, remain goalless.
You can never pick what's going to happen in footy, Eddie. You can never pick it. I can tell you, I reckon it's Tom Templeton who's missed out for the Aspley Hornets, because he's the one player I have not spotted out there through the course of the afternoon. I thought I'd saw someone in a 21 jersey in the first quarter, but I hadn't spotted him a second time until you raised him in commentary there a moment ago. So one late change there, and I think it's Tom Templeton who's missing. He's certainly the only player I haven't put a mark down next to on my list, so that's a pretty good guess. But we'll see if we can find out at halftime what happened there. But yeah, this Canberra side, they're doing absolutely everything right this afternoon. They're out to, what is it, an 8-goal lead, 48 points they're in front by, 7-8-50 to 0-2-2. We'll have to check out what's going on up at Redland in a moment, because next week could suddenly become very exciting. Maguire puts the Canberra side into attack once again. Ball into the path of Hardy, gets a hand pass away. It winds up with Osborne. Osborne, though, there's too many players around him, and he loses control of the pill. Now the Aspley Hornets quickly by hand from Blake Nellis, goes to Tom Belch, then back to Nellis, back to Bouch. Bouch's ball in towards the forward line, comes off the hands of the pack, and it's going a rebound again for the Canberra side. It's with Martin. He goes for a run, looking for someone in the centre of the ground. He gives it to Baker. Baker puts the ball into the almost vacant forward 50, picks out a man on his own in there for the Aspley Hornets. Takes the mark at centre-half back. Couldn't pick who it was as they send the ball forward now through to Payne. And Matthew Payne, diving mark on the 50-metre line, defensive end of the ground. So they'll reload and they'll go again, this Aspley Hornets side. Now it's with Blake Nellis. Goes for a bounce. Wobbly old kick over to the far side of the ground. He might get it back, but no, he doesn't. As taking it forward is that man, Jack Stanley, who we didn't have listed on the starting sheets at the for the game today. So he's gone with the short ball, and then he runs further upfield, but instead Oh, they look lost out there at the moment, this Aspley side. They've tried that a few times to change direction. They give it back to Payne. Payne then finds in the middle of the ground Lipscomb. Lipscomb has a man on the wing.
50-metre penalty.
Oh, okay, so it'll come back to Lipscomb.
And he'll probably be within range. I think it was for going over the mark, I think, or being inside the protected area.
Must have been one or the other in there, because he certainly didn't look to get contacted in any way. I was looking downfield to where Mason was waiting for it. Mason will be filthy because he was away and clear. There was no one within miles of him out on the wing here. But instead, well, it might just be Lipscomb able to take a shot at goal. We'll find it if he can kick at 50, because he'll be on a little bit of an angle. The man standing on the mark about 43 out from goal. Make it 45 as he gets himself set. In comes Lipscomb. Goes with the right foot. It's wobbly. It's going to be short, I think. No, it's not. It's held up on the air. And there's the first goal of the day for the Aspley Hornets, and it goes to Jack Lipscomb. And he gets some sound congratulations from his teammates as the goal umpires get to wave the flags, both flags for Aspley for the first time today. They're 1-2-8. Canberra 7-8-50. We should mention the goal umpires today. It's Kira Brody and Dale Purin. And the boundary umpires today, by the way, Matt Thompson, Scott Hansford and Ben Feely. And
good to see a few travelling Aspley fans cheering on the Hornets side this afternoon. To say that was a desperately needed goal is a bit of an understatement. Matthew Payne with a couple of disposals in that passage of play. He now ticks up to 5 disposals for the match, but pretty well held by Canberra today when you think that he's been averaging 29 disposals per match over the past month. So the Demons shutting down Matthew Payne, and that's contributing to a shutting down of the Aspley side this afternoon. Now, I think Canberra here didn't have their 6-6-6 set up correctly. Mitch Hardy's had to come running into the wing, so that's perhaps a warning for the Demons, and if it happens again, they may concede a free kick. They win the clearance here. Alex Smout gets some sort of a kick away off his left boot. Only went a couple of metres and couldn't find a target. Freeman picked it up, had a fumble, snaps off the right towards the goal square. Going back with the flight there was Spina. The Demons will rush it behind. Aspley moves up to 1-3-9. The Canberra Demons 7-8-50. A quick kick in here from Canberra. Ooh. It wasn't touched on its way out of play, but the kick perhaps was from outside the goal square, and therefore it'll be thrown in rather than being a free to the Hornets. Canberra, despite being up by more than 40 points into time on in the second quarter, showing desperation and wanting to get the ball up to the other end of the ground. I suppose they know they've got to keep scoring. They've got to turn over a massive percentage deficit, so well, they've got a big lead now. They need to keep going with it. Ball back in play. Pate gets the best of it. It goes down towards Owen Orban. He sends it onto his left foot. Gets around Jack Powell, who was the man waiting for it, but it comes back for the Demons. Taken by Harper in the middle of the ground, but again, it's the Hornets who take the ball forward off the boot of Stanley. You can guarantee he's going to get every second possession for the rest of the day now that we've discovered that he's actually out there. They go, but it's again a rebound for the Canberra Demons. And look at this. They've got numbers flooding up the ground at the moment. Hardy decides not to wait for anyone to get there because there's a man waiting for it down there in Harry Carr. He's tapped it to his own advantage, deep into the pocket, holds the ball to his chest at the moment. It's 24-24, and Dawson takes Carr over the boundary line, and now every man on the park is going to race down into the forward 50 for the Canberra side as the ball in will, or the throw in will take place about 6 around from the behind post in front of that magnificent new media centre. It's the media centre for cricket and corporate hospitality for Aussie rules. We've got an infringement in the throw in the ruck contest, holding, and I think it is going to go the way of Mitch Maguire.
Oh, there we go. Maguire was in there. Was he going in for
the
ruck?
I don't think he was doing the ruck, Chris.
That's what I'm trying to work out what was going on. So he was held away from the contest. I think it was Corbett who was going in for the ruck. But Maguire must have been held away from the ball. And so it'll be Mitch Maguire.
And this will make him the leading possession winner on the ground. Chris, coming up for disposal number 12.
Well, not a bad way to go to that lofty position on the stats sheet, and he's drilled it straight through the middle, has Mitch Maguire. And once again, we've talked about this for Canberra across the course of the season. They've got multiple goal kickers. They've got 6 goal kickers for their 8 goals this afternoon. They move on to 8-8-56. Aspley 1-3-9. We're 23 and a half gone here. Canberra, they really will be looking to bury their opposition. But what's happening in the other game up in Queensland, Eddie, the Sydney University fixture?
Yeah, Chris, approaching half-time up at Scottsdale Park, and Sydney Uni starting to get on top of the Redland Bombers. 7 goals in the second quarter to the students. They lead 9-5-59 to 6-3-39. So A 20-point lead to Sydney Uni up there. Here we've got Canberra with a 47-point lead, and the other match underway up at Tramway Oval in Sydney sees the Gold Coast Suns 8-10-58, leading the Sydney Swans 4-3-27. So some strange things happening in the NEAFL this afternoon. Nothing strange about Tom Fall going hard at the ball. It spilled out to Maguire, who gave it to Smout. Now off to Richardson. Richardson kicks for Moline to run onto it. Bounces in front of him. He gathers, shrugs the tackle, but couldn't keep the ball in play. We'll get a boundary throw-in on the broadcast side of the ground. So remembering the equation for Canberra is that they need to win their final 2 matches of the season, and they need Sydney Uni to lose its final 2 matches of the season, and they need to somehow make up quite a big percentage differential. I don't think they're too worried about it at the moment. They're just worried about trying to win this match and win it by as much as they can. Owen Orban burrowing in, gives it to Carr. Carr, a little bit indecisive, arches the back, gets away from a couple of Hornets, gives it to Evans. Carr kept on running, and he keeps on running. Shrugged the tackle, gave the hand pass inside 50 towards Corbett. Corbett trying to knock it out to Powell. He's well tackled there, Riley Corbett. The umpire will ball it up just inside 50 for Canberra.
That's an impressive display of speed and physicality from Harry Carr there.
He was in 6th gear.
He was, bursting through traffic, as we've said on numerous occasions. The tap down one by Spencer for the Hornets, but very, very short kick. Owen Orban, maybe the man who was getting the best of it after that for the Demons. Then it was Matthew Payne for the Hornets. Ball still underneath the pack, and finally they come clear, sort of, via Henderson. But again, it's all Canberra at the moment. Chasing through there is Maguire. Can't get there. It's been taken on the chest by... Is it Evans in there? No, it's...
Martin.
Sam Martin gets it. Okay, Sam Martin gets it held to him, and it'll be a ball up, corner of the centre square. You can see just how far over that centre square has been moved for this week as we see bursting through Moline. Now Moline, he's got options there, gives it to Swan. Swan wheels around onto his right boot, puts a little bit of extra height on it. Has it made it over the line? No, it's been touched just before it goes over. And it's another point for the Demons. They'll move to 8-9-57. Aspley 1-3-9. But gee, Canberra, they're trying a lot of things today, and many of them are just coming up jackpot, coming up roses on this Saturday afternoon. Calling for it for the Hornets is Nellis. Blake Nellis in short. His lead is ignored, and it goes instead to Cody Stackelberg on the defensive 50. He's got another man in short. He goes to Daniel Henderson. Well, they've got a few men in short. There's someone calling Hendo from a distance away. He could have gone for Craven in short. Instead, he goes long, goes for the contest. Waiting for it to come off the contest was Spencer. Spencer puts a hand pass back in field, nearly winds up in the opposition hands, but instead it's picked up by Freeman. Calls of holding the ball, and then the umpire blows the whistle and agrees that it is indeed holding the ball, and the Demons will come up with it, and it'll be another free kick to the home side. And it'll be another free kick to be taken by Mitch Maguire. And interestingly, he turns around and goes back and he gives it to Vardaniga.
So Vardaniga gives it to Harper. Harper just treading water a bit inside defensive 50. Has a bounce. He's looking to switch play. Kicks it towards Angus Baker's over on that side of the ground. The ball is at the bottom of a pack, and we'll get another ball up on that outer side with Canberra leading by 48 points. More than 27 minutes played in this final quarter, so we can't be too far away from half-time. 5-1 for the Demons in this second term, continuing their strong performance from the opening quarter. The umpire throws it up. Spencer slaps it forward. Didn't find a teammate immediately. The ball's on the ground just outside 50 for Aspley. They get it towards full forward. There'll be a one-on-one contest at the top of the goal square. Coming in third man up was Highmore, but crumbing and kicking the goal was the man with the blonde bun, William Murphy. Aspley have their second. They're 2-3-15. The Demons, 8-9-57. He's
been one of the best for the Aspley Hornets there today, Murphy. Not necessarily in terms of the number of possessions, but certainly in the quality of them. He's only got officially, I think, 3 kicks for the day and a couple of hand passes in there. So 5 disposals all up for him. But a great goal there. Laid a couple of very effective tackles as well for mine during the course of the game, and having a good day there. And he's also very easy to pick out.
He is good, and he's recruited from Box Hill in the VFL, so used to playing his footy at a high level, and obviously very comfortable at NEAFL level. William Murphy, a nice finish from him there, and just creating something there. The Hornets with a quick kick towards a one-on-one contest, and Murphy able to come in and crumb the pack.
Great part of the world, Box Hill. Beautiful part of Melbourne.
Good TAFE.
Out in the eastern suburbs, and Geez, when they used to be the Box Hill Mustangs back in the day, they held one of the longest losing streaks in Aussie rules in any league back in the VFA days in the 1970s through to the 1980s. Ball back in play here. It's a Hardy. Tries to soccer it off the ground. There's 3 players there for the Hornets, and they manage to combine to get it out to Craven. Craven then gives it back to Castledine. Castledine, he finds someone further up the ground, and that man up the ground was Freeman. Couldn't control it. Tapped it to keep it alive. There comes Murphy. Lays a tackle, but the ball spills free into the path of Richardson now. Richardson on his inside finds Powell. Short ball. Oh, dangerous stuff in there. It's pushing the back, so it'll be a free to Canberra. Maybe just too far out for Harry Carr to score, but Carr decides to play on. Umpire says you can't do that. It's going to come back around to the mark. But, well, Carr's had a rangefinder, and he'll know now that he's definitely too far out to score. He tried to kick that one from 51, and it landed at the top of the square, although he will have the extra distance that a set shot can take. I reckon he's still too far out. Can he put it 60 on the fly?
No, I think he'll be looking to pass this one off, or he's got Baker lurking at half forward, or perhaps just pop it up to the top of the square.
Who's down there? Tom Fall is waiting. Evans was calling for it, but Carr just decides to put it into the square. Comes off hands and goes through for yet another point. 8-10, 58, the home side. Aspley 2-3-15, and we've just gone past the 30-minute mark in the second quarter here at Manuka, so not too long to go before the siren sounds, you would imagine, but maybe time for the Hornets to go coast to coast. They give it to Dawson. He has a bounce, sends it back inboard, waiting there. That looks like a Stanley. Has a moment or two, gives it back to Dawson. Now they send it back into the forward line. Who's waiting for it? Freeman was the target. Can't do anything with it. Chasing in there is Murphy. He has another crack at it. He's got it down into the path of Freeman. Freeman's kick smothered. Still not the danger over for the Canberra side. It was Swan trying to get to it, but it's been kicked through, and I think it's been put through for a goal. It has. Snapped through from out of the traffic by Connor Stackelberg. And so Aspley, they go, I reckon that's back-to-back goals for them. First time today they've managed to do that. And they get up to 3-3-21. Canberra 8-10, 58-31 gone.
And it's probably been a couple of chaos balls that have just caught the Canberra Demons defence a bit off guard, put them under pressure, and they've ended up with some pretty nice finishes close to goal. An excellent finish there from Connor Stackelberg, and just gives Aspley a bit of momentum, a bit of extra respectability on the scoreboard. The margin now down to, 37 points, so something that they can try and chip away at in the second half.
Yeah, Stackelberg did well in there too. There couldn't have been much of a gap for him to A, run into, and B, kick the ball through, so doing well from close range as 32 minutes arrives on the clock as the ball taken in the middle of the ground by the other Stackelberg. That time it's Cody Stackelberg, and he's gone to ground. Has been called for holding it. He has. Well, there we go. So it'll be...
They're hot on holding the ball in the NEAFL, Chris.
At times they're very hot on it, and it'll be the Canberra Demons to go into attack once again through Connor Owen Orban as he sends the ball in towards half forward. Bounces a couple of times. I think it might have been Corbett who was trying to control it. It comes down to Moline. Moline goes for the hand pass, and that'll be holding the ball. Oh, he's got the hand pass away onto the foot of Moline, and he's volleyed it through. Oh, look out. Someone get Everton or Tottenham Hotspur on the line because he's put that through soccer style. And Lucas Moline, he gets a goal for this afternoon. And, the Canberra Demons, they go past 60. 9-10, 64, Aspley 3-3-21.
They've just been very willing today to support their teammates, the Canberra Demons. It was good tackling pressure that won them the free for holding the ball. And Lucas Moline just kept on pressing forward, got there to get on the end of that, some sort of a hand pass that Harper was able to get away under pressure. And Moline, the striker, put it in the back of the net and reasserts a 43-point lead.
I was waiting for Harper to get pinged for holding the ball, so Howie got his arms free and actually unloaded the hand pass. And I don't know how much Moline really knew about it in a conscious way. It just came towards him, and he's just thrown the right foot out and bang, as you said, into the back of the net. Back out to a 43-point break for the home side as 33 minutes go up, and the tap down by Carr. Secondary tap taken by Spencer. But again, Carr chases the ball up, volleys it in towards the forward line. Clean bowling the man coming out in the shape of Corbett. But again, the Hornets, they rebound. Take it through Henderson. Henderson hand passes it back inside. He finds Castledine. Castledine can't do much with it. Goes out towards Hardy. Hardy's kick, hurried kick winds up with Smout. Smout manages to get the ball away, and then it's run over the boundary line, and it'll be a throw-in despite the efforts of Jordan Arnold. Throw in about 70 around from the Canberra goal. They'll be looking for another one before the break, Ed.
6-3 for the Demons in this second quarter. It's gone nearly 34 minutes. We did have a lot of stoppages early as well, so I suppose that explains the length of this second term. Carr and Spencer to go at it in ruck. Spencer starts in front, knocks it down with two hands into the path of Arnold. He was tackled there, the Tasmanian. We'll get another ball up at the corner of the centre square. The Demons trying to turn this into one last attacking opportunity for the first half. Carr and Spencer will go up in ruck again. Spencer slaps it forward into the path of Murphy, who slapped it forward as well for Henderson to run onto. Henderson breaks away from Evans, kicks inside 50. No one can take the mark. Highmore's chasing after it, so's Hayden. Hayden's still there. Gives the hand pass backwards to Bolch. Bolch goes inside 50 into space. Spina couldn't gather. Spilt to Freeman. Freeman got the hand pass out to Murphy. Murphy is tackled. The umpire will ball it up inside 50 for the Hornets, and perhaps it's Aspley who will have a final scoring opportunity in this second half. We're approaching the 35-minute mark. It's Canberra 9-10-64. Leading Aspley 3-3-21. The 7th-placed Canberra Demons really doing a job on the 4th-placed Aspley Hornets in the opening hour of this match, as the umpire thought about paying a free for holding the ball there, but decides to come in and throw it up one more time.
Aaron Langdon, the man who is the visiting umpire today, and well known to many Canberra fans. Ball goes down towards Spencer. Spencer's hurried kick, I think that's actually come off someone's head and gone over the boundary line there.
A Falcon.
Falcon indeed, and he said it was off his head. I can't tell who it was. It was Connor Stackelberg was the man who's taken it off the bonce, and it's gone free over the boundary line. 35 and a half gone. This has got to be the longest quarter we've called all year, Ed.
We had a striker at one end of the ground, and we've got a header at the other end.
What are we watching? I know the EPL started last week, but we're watching the NEAFL here as the ball comes back into play. Sharking it off the ruck contest was Henderson. He puts a big towering kick in. It goes through over post height. And the goal umpire gives it both barrels, and that's a goal for the visiting side. They move on to 4-3-27. Canberra 6-10. No, try that again. 9-10-64.
And just a bit of push and shove at the Aspley half-forward line. The umpires come in and clear all that up. But this is turning into a really entertaining contest. And the question is, did Aspley give Canberra just too much of a head start? Or can the Hornets just chip away at this lead? Will the Demons tire after making such a fast start? And will Aspley be able to come out after half-time and perhaps gain a bit of momentum? We've played 36 and a half minutes in this second quarter. It has been an extraordinarily long term. There have been a lot of goals kicked, 6-4, so a 10-goal quarter, plus a lot of stoppages. But gee whiz, we've approached nearly 37 minutes, and perhaps an opportunity for another goal for Aspley as Matthew Payne tries to run onto one there. It comes to Murphy, runs in a circle, wrapped up by Richardson. That one will be holding the ball. And maybe Canberra can slingshot the footy and get another opportunity inside their forward 50, although it looks like Guy Richardson is prepared to just slow things down and be patient. He kicks to one of the retiring NEAFL players in Ben Helse, who marks on defensive 50. He kicks to Baker. Baker marks between wing and half back. And there is half time on an intriguing opening half. A second quarter which lasted more than 37 minutes. And at the main break, it's the Canberra Demons 9-10-64, leading Aspley 4-3-27.
We'll check out the live ladder before we go to the break, because all sorts of interesting situations could arise out of this afternoon's results. Now, bear in mind that the Brisbane Lions and Southport, first and second on the ladder, still to play. The Giants and the NT Thunder likewise still to play. The Giants sitting in sixth on the live ladder at the moment. They find themselves behind Aspley, who've dropped to fifth. Sydney Uni, the beneficiaries of a big burst up at Redland. They've jumped to fourth place on the ladder at the moment. This is the live ladder. They are on 38 points. The Sydney Swans, they're on 40 points, so they'll need to continue doing what they're doing as well this afternoon as they go to a percentage of 103.5. They were trailing the Gold Coast earlier, so they'll need to actually get a wriggle on, because suddenly Sydney Uni will have aspirations to go up to third spot on the competition table. So as things stand, the live ladder, factoring in what's going on at the moment, you've got the Brisbane Lions first, Southport second, Sydney Swans sit third, Sydney Uni fourth, 40 points and 38 respectively. Aspley have dropped to fifth. They're on 36 competition points, so a win here this afternoon, very important for the visitors. And the GWS Giants side, they sit sixth with 36 competition points as well, but a massive percentage deficit. But again, if the Giants can get up in their game this weekend, which is, well, that would be somewhat of a forlorn hope up against a very, very strong Brisbane Lions side. But who knows? Stranger things have happened in the world of footy. The Giants, if they get up for a win, they could suddenly put themselves up to 5th spot and see this Aspley side fall to 6th. So plenty more of intriguing stuff to happen here this afternoon, not the least of which is, can Aspley do what they've done on numerous times this year and really turn it on in the second half, or can the Canberra Demons give their home fans something more to cheer about as they wrap up their campaign at Canberra for the season? But as Eddie mentioned, half-time here, it is Canberra 9-10-64, Aspley 4-3-27. Second half about to get underway here at UNSW Canberra Oval in Manuka, with the home side in front of their fans, and quite a few of them have turned out today over on this grandstand side of Manuka Oval to watch. They're doing it quite nicely at the moment. They lead by 37 points, 9-10-64, over an Aspley side who, well, a win here would almost lock up a fourth spot for them and possibly even a third on the competition ladder, but they're struggling a little bit this afternoon. Aspley 4-3-27 for Canberra, as it has been across the course of the season. Plenty of goal scorers for them, with, by my reckoning, 7 individual goal scorers so far this afternoon for the Canberra Demons. But Eddie Williams, how do you expect the second half to play out here at Manuka?
Well, the Demons came out with all guns blazing. They dominated the opening, would you say, 45 minutes of that match, and probably just in the second half of that second term, Aspley started to get a bit of momentum. So can Aspley continue that momentum in this second half, or would the Demons just be able to hold them at a couple of arms' length? It's Canberra by 37 points. Mitch Maguire leads all comers with 15 disposals, and as always, plenty of Mitch Maguire's family in the crowd here at Manuka as we get underway in the second half. Canberra kicking to the left of your screen to the Manuka swimming pool, and the Hornets going to the right to the Manuka shops end, and it'll be Jake Spencer, the big ruckman, with a free kick to get things underway. He kicks towards half forward. It cleared the pack. Getting into lay a strong tackle there was Spina with some help from Baker. The ball spilled out to Richardson, who gives it to Martin. Martin off to Moline. Moline spun out of the tackle and gave it to Richardson, who kept on running. He gives it back to Highmore. The umpire blows his whistle.
Too far?
Someone's run. No, there's been a free off the ball, I think.
That's a long way off the ball.
Looks like it's against Tom Highmore. And the free kick will go the way of Connor Stackelberg.
I'm not arguing with a free kick a long way off the ball. It's just surprised me that it's been awarded. We didn't see what happened, but it'll be Stackelberg. He may just take a shot here from directly in front, 50 out.
Already one goal to his name, Connor Stackelberg. A stuttering approach, got close to the man on the mark, sends it goalward and sends it through. So it is Aspley who start with the momentum. They've got 5 goals. They're 5-3, 33, and they're back within 31 points. 4
of the last 5 goals to the Aspley Hornets, and they've gone back-to-back on multiple. They've gone back-to-back, have they? No, they've gone back-to-back once in there, but 4 of the last 5, Eddie. So they're certainly mounting a bit of a charge, but it's still a 5-goal buffer. And Canberra, well, they won the last quarter 6-5 to 4-1. They won the first quarter 3-5 to 0-2. And they'll be looking to continue that trend through the course of the afternoon. But yeah, you can't give away free kicks off the ball. There's still plenty of push and shove going on, by the way, between Highmore and Stackelberg. So, I can tell you that umpire Nick McGuinness is keeping a very close eye on what's going on down there off the ball. Bounce in the centre of the ground. A tap down is one into the path of Payne by Sinclair. But again, plenty of players come in over the top. Seems to be the way it's gone this season, Eddie. Someone gets a good punch out, and then I start to call the play, and there's a second rebound. So I'm going to pass it over to you to see if you can get the ball out of the middle.
It's thrown up again. You just get the feeling Canberra threw everything at that first half. Didn't quite make the most of their opportunities, kicking 9 goals, 10. Will that inaccuracy come back to bite them in this second half? They're under pressure here, the Demons' defence. There's a free kick for a bit of high contact. It'll go Canberra's way. Looks like Guy Richardson at the bottom of the pack who will take the free. A healthy crowd here this afternoon. Plenty of family and friends getting along for the Demons' final home game of the season. I mentioned a contingent of Mitch Maguire's family, also a contingent of Adam Kanash's family and friends here at the ground. I know this because one of them was behind me in the queue at the canteen at half-time. As the Hornets look to go inside 50 again. It's a one-on-one. Freeman does well, couldn't hold the mark. The ball spilled out to Connor Stackelberg again, and he gets the off-break. And Connor Stackelberg kicks his third.
Well, they certainly must have the cricket ground preparations well and truly underway, and Nathan Lyon will be licking his lips at that one. There's been a couple of massive off-breaks down at that southern end, and, well, suddenly they're back inside 30. In fact, down to 25 the margin. Canberra 9-10-64, Aspley 6-3-39, and that's a couple in a row for them to start here. At only 3 minutes in, they've put the foot down onto the gas. They know it's an important result for them. Canberra, on the other hand, they may, well, I don't think there'll be anyone playing with any less intensity, but there's a lot more to play for Aspley this afternoon, and maybe, just maybe, that motivation proving important for them here as we get to 3.5 gone in the third term.
Important for Aspley to try and lock up a top 4 position to secure a home final. If you finish 5th or 6th, you have to play away in that first week of the finals. That's obviously not something Aspley will be keen on, but Nathan Lyon used to be a groundskeeper at this ground, so we shouldn't be surprised that it's a venue that favours off-spin as we get a secondary ball up because the initial bounce went out of the centre circle. Spencer with a decisive hit out to Payne, who gave it back to Spencer. Kicks it towards Murphy. He couldn't take it. Richardson gives it to Maguire. Maguire wheels onto the right foot, kicks it towards Andrew Swan, who tracks it back and takes the mark on the chest. He's got Moline short over the top. That's where he goes. Lucas Moline takes the mark. Plays on. They use the outer side here and they turn it over. So the Demons under pressure in this third quarter. The mark taken there by Craven. He's off and running. Kicks it towards half forward. This is an excellent start to this term by Aspley. They go inside 50. Freeman does well, and Freeman holds the mark.
Just positioned himself in front of Spina with a bit of a push in there. But now we'll wait and see what goes on here, because we've got, who's that? We've got Ben House and William Murphy. They're going on with it. They're still pushing each other in the chest here. And they'll just want to be very, very careful here, especially Murphy, because he won't want to do anything too silly. He's got umpire Sam Nipris standing right there watching him. Won't want to do anything silly before the kick is taken, but it's Freeman who positioned himself very strongly, staking his claim for a goal.
So from directly in front, the former Brisbane Lion makes no mistake. He's pretty pumped up about it. And Aspley move up to 7-3-45. They're within 19 points.
Gee, they've turned the turbos on, haven't they? They've picked 3 straight, and they've done it in less than 6 minutes here. How quickly things can change in this NEAFL competition. 19 points the margin. Canberra yet to add to their halftime score. And maybe, just maybe, the Aspley side have decided, well, if we go out and get a little bit physical, maybe we can put the Canberra side off their game and take their focus away from it. So perhaps Canberra just need to get the runners to go out with a few messages and say, right, let's just focus on the ball, focus on the footy. Still got a comfortable lead, still more than 3 goals and a couple of quick ones, and it's back outside 30 points.
Twice in the second quarter, Canberra led by 48 points. That was the game-high lead. The margin now just 19.
Ball is back in the middle of the park, and it'll be Paik for the Demons and Spencer for the Hornets. And the ball goes slightly Spencer's way, but he puts it down into the path of Smout. Smout tries to send his side into attack. It's the 2 number 2s, Paik and Hayden. Hayden gets the best of it for the Hornets, and they turn around once again, this Aspley side. They're going to be on the fast break, to use the basketball term. Taking it inside the forward 50 was Blake Nellis. Ball comes off the hands of the pack. It might be Angus Baker who winds up with it. Baker, though, his hand pass only goes to Osborne. There's been a whistle. And Baker did manage to get the ball away, but he was taken high, so it'll come back to him. No advantage for the Demons. They can go for a little bit of a run. They don't. Instead, they go for the short hand pass. Who's further up the ground? Owen Orban was waiting for it, but has gone further than him. Paik sets himself, takes a strong mark, centre wing position, right in front of the grandstand here at Manuka, UNSW Canberra Oval. 7 minutes gone in Canberra. I think this will be the first time they've taken the ball into their forward half, let alone the forward 50. Ball doesn't make it into the forward 50. In fact, it's punched out. Desperation stuff there from Liam Dawson. Flies in, punches the ball over the boundary line. So the throw-in to take place just outside the 50. I don't think it's been inside the forward 50 yet this term for the Canberra Demons. We'll dig out the quarter-by-quarter stats when we get a chance. But at the moment, let's stick with the live action. The ball punched away by Paik into the path of Moline, tries to break free, does so, gets pick up the ball off the turf. He gave it to Smout. Smout then found Hardy. Hardy ran into a wall. Ball bounced back over his head. Chasing it back again. In there is Smout. Can't do anything with it. Slings a man off the ball. That was Arnold who got thrown away from the pill from the Hornets. Ball high in the air, but not far enough for a mark. Maguire realises that, wheels around onto his right, sends it in towards centre half forward, and taking a mark there. Strong mark was Riley Corbett.
Well, we talked about the pies at Ganmain. Perhaps Riley Corbett's more interested in the sausage rolls today, Chris. 2 sausage rolls for him earlier in the match in the opening half. And Riley Corbett from Ganmain Grong Grong Matong looking to go back and kick goal number 3. And they need a steadier here, the Canberra Demons, after a very fast start by Aspley in this second half.
I can't give you the inside 50s on a quarter-by-quarter breakdown, but this one, Could be a very productive one for Riley Corbett. As Eddie mentioned, he's kicked 2 so far today. He goes for the long bomb and he puts it through. He could have kicked that from 65 out. It stayed very, very high. And Riley Corbett gets his third and a steadier for the Canberra Demons. They get the lead back out past the 20-point mark. They move on to 10-10-70. Aspley on 7-3-45. What a game we've got in prospect here for the next hour or so.
And he comes off the ground, Riley Corbett, trading places with Adam Kanash. And I think having Kanash and Corbett there inside 50, giving them a real tall key position target, is adding something to the Canberra Demons forward line this afternoon, which we haven't always seen this season. I think Kanash and Corbett, some games when they've played, they have been a bit quiet, but they just help to build a bit of structure inside 50 there, and you add in the likes of Carr, Swan, Fall, Pollock, Hardy, and that becomes a pretty potent forward line. So if the Demons can get it in there, those sorts of players are able to create plenty of chances. 20 scoring shots to 10 for the Demons so far in this match. Spencer thumps it forward. Owen Auburn's trying to chase it back. It's picked up there by Mason. He dished the hand pass off. Now they come inside 50, the Hornets. Umpire calls play on. Payne lost it. Baker took it. Baker lost it. Pake goes in and wins the ball. He knocks a hand pass out. Eventually it's hacked out of the area into the middle of Manuka Oval. Spencer knocks the ball down. Spina with a clever hand pass to Pollock. Then the look-away hand pass for Hardy to try and run onto. He tried to slap it to Evans, but he couldn't take it. But the Hornets' kick will be turned over. Connor Owen Auburn going back with the flight, takes a mark and just takes a bit of time before kicking across the ground to Tom Highmore, who marks inside defensive 50. Now the switch is on. He kicks for Harper, who marks on the wing, right on that Hilux logo. Harper goes by hand to Baker. Baker has one bounce. Plenty of room here for Angus Baker. He goes inside 50. There's no mark, and Aspley will be able to run things out.
Wasteful was a contest that he kicked it to, but now Aspley, they're going one out here. Murphy has it, goes for a run, looking for that man Stackelberg. He's got 3 so far today. This time he doesn't get involved in the play. It might come to him now. It does. He's dispossessed with a very hard tackle. Didn't have it for long enough. Now it goes to Richardson. Richardson to Maguire, and Maguire by foot sends the ball forward. That'll be Harper over on the far side of the ground. He can go for a couple of bounces if he wants. He's had one. He's had a third, or a second rather. Doesn't go for the third because he's got Harry Carr. Oh, you can't leave Harry Carr on his own in that part of the park, and he stands there and takes the easiest of marks.
That was a great transition there by Canberra. They did well to open up that outer side of the ground. Precision passing, and Harry Carr will go back to try and kick his first goal of the afternoon.
He's had a couple of fairly easy shots earlier today. Also had a difficult opportunity he was unable to turn into a score. Little bit stuttery on the run, but he holds himself up, puts the ball straight through the big sticks. And we're back out on the other side of a 30-point game now, with Canberra moving on to 11-10-76. Aspley 7-3-45, and Harry Carr gets his first major for the day.
High-scoring footy, 76-45 early in the third quarter. An entertaining game, and the crowd certainly... Well, they always get their money's worth at the NEAFL because it's very affordable, but they're well and truly getting more than their money's worth this afternoon in a very entertaining contest. As we mentioned, Canberra at one stage led by 48 points. Early in this opening quarter, the Hornets had trimmed that back to 19, and now the Demons just keeping things at that arm's length at a comfortable 31-point buffer.
There's the old theory about first team to 100 usually wins the game. If Canberra is the first team to 100, you wouldn't back them today, going on the way this game has gone so far today. But at the moment, they have the momentum. They've scored the last 2, and they've got it back out to a 31-point break. Ball down in the middle of the park. It'll be Spencer to get the tap out. He does. Plenty of players in there. Will we get the ball under a pack? No, we won't. Smout has it. Tries to get a hand pass away. That's a throw or an illegal or a holding the ball. Holding the ball, says the umpire. It goes to Craven. Quick pass over to, I think it was Cody Stackelberg. Sent it down to the forward line. Murphy was the target. Can't do anything. There's too many Canberra Demons players in there. It's Murphy who had it. He sent it around onto a teammate. Now they're very, very quick and fleet of foot over the far side of the ground. I think it was Pollock. He looked up. I think may have been looking for Osborne, but again they've turned it over. The Canberra Demons, and the Hornets are bringing it back through the middle very, very quickly. It was Hayden was involved in the play. Little bit of a nudge underneath the contest. Umpire says play on, but it winds up with Murphy. Murphy tries to get away. Holding the ball, says the umpire. So it'll be a free going Canberra's way. There's a bit of a willingness to obstruct things. That's got to be a 50-metre penalty. You can't restrict the player who's got the free kick from getting up. And so it'll be, is it Baker?
Baker.
It is Baker. Sometimes hard to pick Baker and Highmore apart. They're very similar in build, similar in hairstyle.
They've got the same shoes.
Same shoes as well. It was harder last week when they were both, or the week before last when they were both in the away white jersey as well. But it's Baker. Too far out to score. But he's shown that he's willing to be a little bit adventurous, and he sends the ball deep into attack now for the Canberra side. Swan takes the grab. Just reaches both arms up and gets hold of it. He'll be taking a shot from a very, very acute angle. Umpire is turning him around almost into the first row of seats. He's got a few fans to cheer him on there. We'll try and kick it around the corner here, Eddie.
This is a man who spent around a year out of the game with an ACL injury. He's made a remarkable return.
Swings it onto the left foot, but it's travelled right across the face and out on the full. So it'll be the Hornets to get the ball back.
Not so remarkable there, but the way he's performed for Canberra in the second half of this season since coming back into the side has been incredibly impressive after spending such a long period out of this level.
I reckon he's a player too that provides more than his numbers on the stat sheet show. He's a real inspirational leader for this side as he tries to get involved again, and indeed turns a free kick for the Hornets on one side into a throw-in deep in attack for Canberra on the other.
There we go. So Andrew Swan showing us what he's made of there after missing that shot from a tight angle. It was an excellent mark though in the pocket. Yeah. So we'll get a boundary throw-in inside 50 for the Canberra Demons, who have strung together a couple of goals after coughing up 3 in a row to the Hornets at the start of the term. Hardy, under pressure, fired the hand pass back, tried to get it towards Richardson. Richardson had to lay a tackle, players appeal for holding the ball, but we will get a ball up just outside the 50-metre arc for the Canberra Demons, who lead by 31 points, nearly 15 minutes played in this third quarter. The ball is thrown up. Knocked down by Spencer again, but it came to Evans. He gave it back to Harper, who gives it to Vardaniga. Vardaniga goes out towards right half forward for Hardy to try and run onto. The ball doesn't stay in play. We'll get a boundary throw in underneath the Jack Fingleton scoreboard just outside the 50-metre line for the Canberra Demons. So it'll be Paik and Spencer to go at it in ruck again. And Jake Spencer, the leading possession winner for Aspley, with 16 disposals this afternoon and 34 hit-outs to his name as well. He's having a good day out after a few fumbles earlier in the match. He'll get another opportunity to win another hit-out here because we will get another boundary throw-in on that outer side of the ground.
A long way from us here. I can tell you at the moment we won't have any confusion between Baker and Highmore either, because Baker's actually off the ground at the moment. We can see him at the interchange gates waiting to come back on. Ball high in the air, and Paik gets the best of the ruck contest, actually out-muscled his opponent, grabs the ball for a second attempt, then loses it. It goes out though towards, in the flashy green boots, Harper sends it further forward now. There's something happening down in front of us, Eddie. You'll give us the details in a second. We'll stay with the live players. The ball's in front of Pollock. Pollock sends it back towards the hot spot. Waiting underneath it is Evans. Evans backs out of the way, and Powell comes in, takes the grab, 25 out directly in front. What have you spotted, Ed?
Yeah, Alex Paik looks to be in quite serious pain. He's taking a long time to get up after that contest. He's very slowly getting to his knees. Not sure what the nature of the injury might be, but the trainers all coming to Alex Paik now on that outer side of the ground.
Keep an eye on him for us, Eddie. I'll stay with the play as Powell, goalless so far today. Well, again, it's a training drill. Kicking from 30 out, directly in front. Goal umpire moves a little bit to the left, but it is another goal for the Canberra Demons, and that would be after starting the quarter by conceding 3 in a row. They've managed to score the next 3 themselves, and we're back almost where we started from at half-time, with the Demons having added 3 straight. They move on to 12-10. 82, Aspley 7-3-45, and we are indeed back to exactly the margin as it was at half-time, with both sides having scored 3 goals, 3 straight goals, which is interesting also of itself, because in the first quarter we had 3 goals and 7 behinds the combined score between the sides, and it looks like Alex Paik's got himself back up and around.
Yeah, after spending a long time on the ground, he's up with the help of the trainers, and he's back in the middle of the field, ready to go at it in the ruck. Nice finish there to Jack Powell in NEAFL game number 50. We're back in the centre, so Paik, just keep an eye on him and how he performs in the ruck here against Jake Spencer. He did look pretty sore after that last contest, but doesn't look like he's going to give anything away. Alex Paik threw himself at that particular ruck hit out. The ball spills free to Luca Mason. He's under pressure there from Smout. Got the kick away. It'll bounce before the pack. Gathered by Martin for the Demons. Hands it to Evans. Evans has options. He kicks beyond the wing towards Adam Kanash. The kick was over his head, though. It's been turned over. So Aspley just trying to regain the momentum. They had all the momentum their way. 3 goals in the opening 6 minutes of this quarter, but the Demons have responded with 3 of their own just to take a bit of the sting out of the Hornets, perhaps, as the ball is taken over the boundary line. A strong tackle there by Alex Smout up against Jack Lipscomb. And we'll get a boundary throw in right in front of our commentary position on centre wing. Paik and Spencer going at it again. He has been impressive this afternoon, Jake Spencer, but Alex Paik giving it his all in the ruck. Both of them probably got a hand on that one. It came down to Powell. He was dispossessed. Spilt to Owen Orban. He's taken into the ground. We'll get another ball up near the far edge of this centre square, which is off-centre this afternoon, as they try and protect that centre wicket area ahead of cricket season, which now I suppose is not too far away. Hand pass there from Spencer, taken by Smout, but his hand pass is turned over as well. Bolch kicks inside 50, and they'll get another shot on goal here, Aspley, because Jordan Hayden has taken a mark on the chest.
Took it easily, just set himself up, took the leap at it, and an important one here for Aspley. If they harbour aspirations of winning this game, they'd cut the 37-point margin down to less than 20, but it's back out to 37. Very accurate by foot, this Aspley side, and again this afternoon. Their 10 scoring shots, 7 of them have been majors, and Hayden coming in for number 8.
So Jordan Hayden, recruited from Glenorchy in Tasmania. He's hung that one out to the left. It won't have the distance. In the end, it was off hands and through for a behind. So 7-4-46, the Hornets. Canberra 12-10-82. And the Demons looking to get things moving quickly from this kick-in, perhaps a bit too quickly. They've turned it over again. Aspley come inside 50 to a crowded forward line. Everyone flies. No one takes the mark. It comes down to Murphy, and Murphy dribbles through another goal.
He is having an afternoon. Here's Murphy. He's got 2 for the day. As I mentioned earlier in the game, he hasn't got a huge number on the stats sheet. They're only showing 6 or 7 disposals for him. That would be his 5th kick for the afternoon. A couple of hand passes, a couple of tackles in there. But he's really shown a lot of niggle. And he's provided some options at times where he's perhaps drawn Canberra Demons players away from where the ball was going. So anytime you can exert influence on a game without having the ball, you are having a good day out, and he is having a very good day today, is William Murphy. Canberra 12-10-82, Aspley 8-4-52. We have a third... Hang on. Is that right? Yes. Sorry, just double-checking myself for a moment there. Oh, yeah, I forgot the other behind that had been scored by Aspley. So, yes, exactly 30 points the difference. 5 goals of the ball back in the middle of the ground, and so once again, it's Aspley coming away with it. They go by a hand to Luca Mason. He looks towards the forward line. No one able to get control of it. It'll be a throw in there, although James Nellis comes in and slings Angus Baker to the ground. And here we go. A little bit more of the push and shove as Kel Evans comes in. Blake Nellis involved as well. James Nellis defending his actions there to the umpire. And then he runs after the man he just slung over the turf a minute ago, Angus Baker, and they head back into the forward 50.
So we get a boundary throw in as everyone takes a deep breath. Spencer won his way in front. The ball comes down towards Harper, who just socketed it out of the air. It was taken by Spencer, who gave the hand pass back. Now a quick kick there towards James Nellis, who hand passes to Payne. Payne sees a man loose at half forward. Oh, he fell over there, did Tom Bolch. And they've coughed it up, the Hornets. Evans gives it to Owen Orban. He's under a lot of pressure, Owen Orban. The ball goes over the boundary line. Hornets players appealing for deliberate out of bounds, but we'll get a throw in inside 50 for Aspley. The intensity going up a notch in this match over the past couple of minutes. An important 10 minutes or so between now and three-quarter time. The margin is 30 points. Next goal could be important. It's thrown back in. Paik slaps that one down. A lot of players over the ball here, and we'll get a ball up just outside 50 for Aspley as they try and trim that margin beneath 5 goals as we get closer to three-quarter time. Another goal for the Demons would give them a bit of breathing space as the ball comes through to Bolch. Bolch fires at goal, but he's missed. So a behind there to the Hornets. Their accuracy just not quite on over the past few minutes. They move up to 8-5 53. The Demons 12-10, 82.
There's a bit of push and shove going on off the ball as well. I saw Jack Lipscomb for the Hornets and Jake Powell going toe-to-toe for a while. Powell's actually come off for a break, and Lipscomb was watching to see who he was going to pick up next. And he's got a small challenge. He's got Mitch Maguire as the man he's on now. But right now, it is the Hornets on the attack, and Batchelor, the man who's seen the ball go over the boundary line in front of him. So it'll be a throw-in, about 80 metres around from the Hornets' goal. What have we got? 23 gone in this quarter. A game very much of swinging momentum, and maybe just going back in favour of the visitors at the moment. Once again, it's a ruck win to Spencer, but once again, chasing it down his Smout. Turns around, sends it back on his inside. I think it might have been Moline who got it and then got hurried off it. Now quick pass into the path of Paik. Tries to bend down and pick it up as the big man. Does actually bend down and pick it up, but it's sharked off the ground by Murphy. Turns around through 180 degrees. He finds it onto Mason. Mason puts it onto the boot, and now they've got plenty of options in front of goal, but it might wind up being a Canberra ball. No, they managed to turn around, and getting onto it was Freeman. Freeman, though, probably could have taken another moment to get himself set. Rushed the kick a little bit, and it's through for yet another behind for Aspley. So having said that they were kicking well, they've now added 1 goal 3 in the last few minutes. They're on to 8-6-54. Canberra 12-10, 82, and Canberra take their time to get things started out of defence as they wait for a loose man, and that loose man was Pollock, but his attempt to mark was spoilt by Nellis for the visitors. Now it goes to Dawson rather. Dawson gives the ball to Dale. Dale's hand pass, well, I don't know where else it was going to go other than towards the boundary line, but I think it was more ill-directed than deliberate, and the umpire will throw it in on the interchange gates, or just adjacent to the interchange gates. Main grandstand side. Interesting, a lot of people sitting in the shade here at Manuka this afternoon, Eddie. I don't know if it's that warm out there. But
17 degrees, Chris. It's boiling.
Tropical for Canberra at this time of year. Paik gets the tap down. It was Maguire who then tried to do something with it. Couldn't do anything. Smout came through. But again, it's the Hornets rebounding. Ball goes to a contest in front of Martin. Martin is in the face of his opponent in Craven. And it winds up again going Canberra's way. Hurried kick away from House. House, though, his kick is turned over. Arnold gets hold of it for the Hornets. Sends it over to the middle of the ground. That might be Henderson. It is. Henderson then gives the ball to Batchelor, and Batchelor will take a chance to put the Hornets deep into attack off one of the 3 centre circles painted on Manuka at the moment. Sends the ball down and towards full forward. There's only one of those down there. Pollock is the man who does the spoiling work for Canberra. Pack forms, and it'll be a ball up 40 out from the Hornets goal.
So it'll be a crowded forward line at this stoppage. All bar 2 players are in Aspley's forward half of the ground as Alex Paik puts his hand up to do the ruck against Jake Spencer. Umpire throws it in the air. Spencer takes it out of the ruck. His kick was smothered. Came out towards Bolch, but the Demons are able to rebound. The kick is towards Fall and Swan. Good body work from the 2 Demons. Swan then coughed it up. He threw it out. That's a free kick going the Hornets' way. So good pressure here by Aspley. The ball in the hands of Jackson Allen. Waits for an option. He's got Henderson on short. Elects to kick inside 50. And the mark has been juggled. And it'll be a shot on goal to that man again, Connor Stackelberg, to try and kick his 4th.
Did well to hang on to the mark.
Not the best directed kick, but he made it look good.
Yeah, did well to hang on to it. Knocked it up to his own advantage. Took the grab in there. All comes back to Andrew Swan, who was almost caught in possession and then ended up trying to throw the ball to his own advantage, and that didn't work out. But here comes the shot on goal.
An important kick before 3/4 time, and again, as we've seen in this time on period, the Hornets' radar has gone a bit astray. Connor Stackelberg misses to the right, and the margin is 27 points as Tom Highmore does the kick-in duties. Charges out of the centre square, goes long up the middle towards Kanash. Couldn't take the mark. Follows up well there, Adam Kanash. Gathers, gets the hand pass back to Richardson. Richardson gives it off to Martin. Martin goes to the wing, and that's well held onto there by Andrew Swan as the players stream forward. Swan gives the hand pass to a running teammate there in Baker. He kicks inside 50, but the kick's gone astray. It's gone out of bounds on the full. And the Hornets can try and get out of defence.
There's plenty of vacant territory for Baker to kick into there, but Canberra persisting to work it on the outer side of the ground. Now, which way will the Hornets go? Will they go up the middle? I'll go around the outside of the ground. Murphy potentially the target. Oh, good fly. Freeman goes, takes the grab. Still on the wing, far side of the ground. He gives it around, I reckon. Is that Castledine? Very hard for me to pick him there.
Arnold.
It's Arnold. There we go. You had the binoculars on him. I was going off the naked eye. White jumper, white fence, lots of glare around. And his kick, I think, has been ill-directed to the point of going out on the full at the other end of the ground. So we're playing a little bit of keepings off and forcings back at the moment. And very fortunate there for Ben House that there's a gate, as he can, instead of having to suffer the indignity of climbing the fence, actually manages to duck through the gate and retrieves the pill. Now, which way do they go? Got Richardson and Spina waiting for it in the centre square. Instead, they work it around the outer side of the ground. Comes off the hands of the pack, so no one able to get a clean possession, and it'll be a ball up now, just adjacent to the Hilux logo. 29-minute mark coming up here. Bear in mind, we went 37 in the second quarter, so there might be a few players who'll start to show a little bit of leg fatigue, but none of that for the Hornets at the moment as they look to take the ball back into attack. But again, it's repelled. That looked to be, well, the Demons getting away with it very, very quickly, waiting to see who can come up with it. They're on the burst. Waiting in underneath it is Swan. It goes over his head. Off hands. Fall. Picks it up outside 50. Does the rugby league fend. Turns around inside the 50. Has the shot on goal, but it doesn't quite have the legs. Doesn't have the accuracy either. It's through for a minor score. Canberra go to 12-11-83. Aspley 8-7-55. And Aspley, with the 29.5 showing on the clock, take their time, get themselves set and decide the best way to go is straight up the middle of the park. The kick, by the way, goes about 70 on the fly. Bounces well for Murphy. There's no one for him to kick it to, and he's in danger of getting run down. Oh, he takes a very clever step to the left, gets off Richardson, sends the ball into the forward line for a man who's charging down the field in Blake Nellis. And Nellis, having run a very long way, grabs the ball, stops and takes a breath and says, well, I'm going to have a shot.
That was a great transition there by Aspley, and William Murphy, the former Box Hill Hawk, he's been super impressive this afternoon. A couple of goals of his own and perhaps setting up another goal here.
Did mention that Box Hill wasn't always the glamour club in Victoria in VFL level, but plenty of good players have come through from there, and we're seeing another one of them now.
Same colours as the Hornets as well.
They are indeed. The shot here, not bad, hits the woodwork. So I'm not sure how many points in a row that has been for the Aspley side. I reckon it's 4. And I think it's 5 of their last 6 scoring shots have been minor scores. 8-8-56 they are. Canberra 12-11-83. And once again, we're past the 30-minute mark. And Canberra, oh, they may have made a mess of it. And here's the man we were talking about, Murphy. He's sharked it. He's gone maybe a step too far. Finds Cody Stackelberg, who off one step takes a shot from 49 out. Umpire Kira Brody doesn't move and says, that'll do. Gives it both barrels. And Cody Stackelberg.
And it's on.
Well, he's got the goal. The stacks are on as well. So Cody Stackelberg has 1. Connor Stackelberg has 3. Aspley as a team have 9. 9-8-62. Canberra 12-11-83. 31.5 gone here at Manuka.
Mitch Hardy and Jack Lipscomb getting very well acquainted at the Aspley half-forward line as the players clear from that little conference which they were holding, and they run back to their positions. Probably a good thing about the 6-6-6 starting positions is it discourages melees because you've got to get back to your starting position in time. The momentum has swung a lot in this match. Obviously, the Demons with a big head start, opening up a 48-point lead in the second quarter, but Aspley has been working its way back into the contest, and as we get close to three-quarter time, they find themselves in touch, and perhaps there's time for a late goal as Spencer thumped it forward, but Richardson thumped it back. Tom Fall with a bit of pressure, chases after the footy, leaves it for Swan. Swan gives it to Hardy. Hardy's pretty fired up. He goes inside 50 towards Pollock. Can't take the mark at ground level. Powell has to lay a tackle. It's a good tackle. It's a tackle that's not rewarded by a free kick, but the ball spills to Harper. Harper with a high footy. Who's underneath it? Flying from the side was Fall. He couldn't take the mark. The Hornets will run out of defence. Craven gives the hand pass off. And now Aspley can try and turn things around and run the footy up to the other end of the ground, although the Demons have done well to set up here and just close down a few avenues. This is a good setup. Well done there by Spina, knocking the ball forward.
Oh, he's down.
They would have done well to earn a stoppage there, the Demons, but the ball spilt free. You keep an eye on that, Chris. The footy's still moving forward Aspley's way. Sam Martin's chasing it back. Does well, Sam Martin. Gives it back to Baker. Baker fires the hand pass to Richardson. There's an open side of the ground here if they can get it moving, the Demons. Now the kick from Smout comes towards Pollock. Pollock marks on the chest near the AFL logo. Gets the applause from the home crowd. His kick is for Paik. Paik back with the flight. Great mark. This is a good passage of play by the Canberra Demons. Alex Paik gets to his feet. We've gone more than 33 minutes in the third quarter. Paik thumps it long off the left boot. Tom Fall will fly, and Tom Fall takes the mark. And he'll go back. He'll make sure he knows exactly where the mark is. And Tom Fall will line up for goal number 2.
He'll get to kick it after the siren. I'll tell you, there's a couple of Canberra players who are just shaking things off after that pretty physical passage of play on the far side of the ground. Jonathan Spina and Mitch Hardy, 2 of them. And Alex Kanash was also very slow to his feet after another bump, but Kanash seems to be okay. Spina probably 70-30. Hardy, I'd say, is 50-50 at the moment, but he's going to get the advantage of the three-quarter time break.
Tom Fall is a momentum player. This has been a momentum game. He'll kick off the left from 45. Keeps it pretty low. Keeps it pretty straight. Tom Fall has his second goal, and all the momentum is with the Canberra Demons as we head into three-quarter time.
What a fascinating game of footy this has been, and a fascinating final quarter on the way as the players all have an impromptu come together. Nothing about the 6-6-6 rule here to stop this melee, Eddie. They've all come in from far and wide. I don't think there's too many punches being thrown, but a lot of push and shove happening. And I can tell you there's a lot of very interested parties from further afield. It's still going here. We'll just wait and see how this goes. Someone's been pushed to the ground.
Ben House is getting involved. The umpires are blowing their whistles. Mitch Hardy and Jack Lipscomb seem to know each other very well after this afternoon's match. We start to see most of the Demons players walking towards their huddle now. The Aspley players are doing the same, and that little argument seems to have been mostly cleared up, although a bit of finger pointing there from Mitch Maguire. He seems pretty fired up. He's just been settled down there by Spina. But there's a lot of feeling in this match, and the feeling at the moment is that Canberra has most of the momentum, and they have a 37-point lead. At three-quarter time, it's the Canberra Demons 13-11-89, leading Aspley 9-6-62.
Now, Ed, we said earlier this afternoon that we wanted to look at a couple of things about some NEAFL news from the Canberra side of things, and an interesting proposal. I don't know how much meat it's being given at the moment, but it's certainly been raised as an idea that the Canberra Demons should be looking at increasing the depth available to this club. And the idea that's being floated is a Canberra Demons reserve grade side.
Yeah, the Canberra Demons do a podcast. A couple of the players do a podcast, and this idea was floated on that podcast during the week, the idea of the Canberra Demons having a reserve side to play in the AFL Canberra competition. You have an interesting thought on this, Chris.
Well, I don't know whether it's an official... We should put that out first.
No, they're just having a yarn. We're just floating an idea.
It's not an official proposal, but it's an idea. And I wonder what kind of an impact would it have on the AFL Canberra competition?
I can tell you it would have an impact on the Gungahlin Jets,
well,
who
true.
currently have most of the non-playing NEAFL Canberra Demons. Generally, most of them filter into the Gungahlin Jets side. The Gungahlin Jets, respectfully, struggle to win matches at any level of football across both the genders, even with the NEAFL listed players coming down. There are a couple of NEAFL players, I believe, who go back to their original clubs, so whether it's Eastlake or whether it's Tuggeranong, but most of them go to Gungahlin. Gungahlin still struggling even with those players, so they'd perhaps struggle a bit, but then again, maybe it opens up opportunities for more Gungahlin-listed players and for them to generate a bit more of a strong culture in that club. But from a pure Canberra Demons perspective, you can see a benefit to having your own structure, your own reserve side.
Absolutely. The question is, would they need additional players?
Yeah, how do they fill the numbers?
I think they would, so I can't imagine too many other clubs being willing for that to happen.
Where do those top-up players come from?
And the other question then is, would you have traditional powerhouse clubs in the AFL Canberra competition? So not just Eastlake, but it would lessen their influence as a club, but also Ainslie, Queanbeyan, and the other sides, Tuggeranong, in the AFL Canberra competition. So if they were to do it, I'd say, yeah, by all means, go for it. Have a run, have a go at it, but you're not playing in the actual premiership. You can win the minor premiership by all means. You sit there, you show up on the ladder all the way through. It increases the variety of opponents. Bear in mind, it is a small league, the AFL Canberra, only a half a dozen clubs in the top flight. So it would add a 7th team to that, so it would mean you're not playing the same team 4 times, multiple times. You would have a bye in there, but you'd also wind up with a 7-team competition. But at the end of the season, the final series, I think, should not be eligible to a Canberra Demons reserve grade side. So it still becomes the AFL Canberra local competition for the finals in there. And you'd need to stagger it so that the AFL Canberra competition and the NEAFL competition ran parallel in terms of weeks as well.
Yeah, it's something we're discussing. An anomaly or a quirk would be Eastlake operating 2 teams essentially within the one competition. Eastlake Football Club operates or has the licence for the Canberra Demons, but an idea worth talking about as to how the Canberra Demons can improve things and just improve a bit of that structure and a bit of that depth. But their structure and their depth looking pretty good this afternoon. They hold a 37-point lead going into the final quarter against Aspley here at Manuka. Well, it's an afternoon which has implications on how the NEAFL Finals series will look. We'll go around the grounds at Scottsdale Park up in Queensland. Sydney Uni currently have a 24-point lead over Redland, 6 minutes gone in the opening term there. A win to Sydney Uni will guarantee their place in the finals and will lock out the Canberra Demons from the NEAFL top 6. And at Tramway Oval, just outside the SCG, it's the Gold Coast Suns with a 40-point lead over the Swans. About 11 minutes played in the final quarter in that match. So it looks like Sydney Uni and the Gold Coast will get themselves on the winners list this afternoon. The Canberra Demons will be looking to join them. Eddie Williams and Chris Coleman with you for the final quarter here on NEAFL TV. Round 20 NEAFL action. Aspley visiting Canberra to take on the Canberra Demons.
Live ladder calculator at the moment has the Lions and Southport still 1 and 2. They're yet to play. The Swans are still in 3rd. Sydney Uni move up to 4th, half a game behind the Swans. Aspley have dropped to 5th, half a game behind Sydney Uni. And the Giants yet to play, but they currently sit in 6th. But they could get themselves well up on the NEAFL ladder as the round progresses. Bit of physical stuff to get things started. We saw Aspley come out very hard out of the gates in the 3rd quarter, and they kicked the first 3 goals by getting the Demons a bit off their game, and they might be doing the similar thing here, but the Canberra Demons rebound from inside their own defensive 50. Ball is punched away from Balch for the Hornets, and we see Canberra finally looking to get a clean possession, and Andrew Swan has to sit and camp and wait under the ball as Allen was charging towards him, but Swan does well. Goes by his right foot up in towards the forward line, waiting for it was Harper, couldn't control it, taken by Carr, spins through 360, spins through 540, almost 720 degrees, but there's no call of holding the ball. Maybe had an arm pinned to him so he couldn't actually get rid of it, but it'll be a ball up.
Perhaps no prior opportunity. A ball up on the broadcast side of the ground in front of the Canberra Demons interchange bench. Their final quarter at home for the season. They're looking to end things on a high. Paik gives it to Maguire. Maguire kicks inside 50 towards Reece Pollock. Pollock can't quite hold on. He was under pressure there from the man in the headband, Callum Castledine. The ball spills out towards Harper. He's under pressure from Allen. Allen gathers, gives it off to Castledine, and he gets the kick clear from defence. It's towards Blake Nellis. Knocked away from him. Players come towards the ball. Kanash gives it out to Vardaniga. Vardaniga inside 50. It was just over Powell's head. It's bouncing around. It comes to Tom Fall. Fall tries to take on 2 tacklers. Fall is pinged for holding the ball. Free kick to Aspley at halfback.
Could have been taken high by the second tackler there, but I reckon the first tackler had completed the job as Fall went to ground. And the free kick, it goes to Henderson. Henderson switches it around to the far side of the ground, and there's Castledine. Turns around, brings it back inboard and finds Blake Nellis. Goes for it doesn't go for a bounce, goes for a right foot kick instead. Up towards half forward. It bounces a couple of times. Baker make it the best of it. He does, almost cleaned up by a teammate. Rushes his kick a little bit, does Baker, and it comes unstuck once again, and we see Blake Nellis, who's charged up the field, gets another kick, kins it onto Castledine. Castledine, though, has handed the ball away. Eddie, I know you're pointing at something off screen. What have we got?
Sam Martin must have perhaps damaged his jumper in that little conference on the field, because he's come out wearing the number 26 instead of the number 25.
Okay, we'll keep an eye on him as he comes back out shortly. But the ball now in the attacking 50 for the Hornets, and it's in the hands of the big man, Jake Spencer. Hasn't got a goal this afternoon, but he'll fancy his chances here. The former AFL ruckman, as he'll take a shot from about 45 out directly in front.
Well, he's done everything else this afternoon, Jake Spencer. He's Aspley's leading possession winner. He has his shot.
And he takes care of business straight through the middle. And once again, we've got the close one going on here now. Aspley back within 21 points. 13-11-89 Canberra. Aspley moved to 10-8, 68, 3 gone. Final term.
Jake Spencer, 19 disposals, 3 marks, 2 tackles, 40 hit-outs, 6 clearances, 2 inside 50s, 2 rebound 50s, and now a goal. It's a pretty well-rounded afternoon for the former Melbourne Demon.
Is there anything he hasn't got a stat for?
Behinds.
Okay, there we go.
I don't think he's aiming to kick a behind
Probably
in the final
not.
quarter, but it'd certainly complete the set.
Well, not when you're down by 21 points, but
could be a handy point.
We saw the Aspley side kick 3 in a row to start the third quarter. If they do that here, well, they'll be back within a single-digit deficit rather. Ball down in the middle of the park. Good bounce. Pake gets the best of it, then loses sight of it. Sharked off the ground there by Craven. He wheels around onto his right, sends it forward. Baker waits for it, can't control the pill. Got a hand on it as it went down towards Cody Stackelberg. Cody Stackelberg puts a kick in that almost goes higher than it went long and out on the full. And it'll be brought back into play by Ben House for the Canberra Demons. There's an option around the grandstand side in Maguire. Still on his own is Maguire, sort of covered by Stackelberg, and I think the kick will be a longer target than that. Perhaps Pake. It is indeed Pake, the man who was the target. Couldn't control it. Ball was punched away then from Hardy. Evans, indeed it was. Could only see the top of his head. And the ball punched away from him. And then it goes over the boundary line. Throw in to take place adjacent to the interchange gates. Waiting for it. Pake's had to work very, very hard this afternoon, but it'll be another tap down going the way of Spencer. But this time, despite Smout's best efforts to get away at speed, he gets 2 steps and is taken into the turf. And now there's a bit of push and shove going on between Smout and Belch. Ball is sent into the air by the umpire. Chasing through for it was Pollock for Canberra. Couldn't control it. It wound up in the arms of Payne. Payne then tackled by Pollock. It's getting willing once again. And Arnold it was actually who wound up on the bottom of the pile. And another ball up. Centre wing position, grandstand side of Manuka.
Thrown up, Pake wins a hit out. There's a player who's been taken out off the ball. Alex Smout has conceded a free kick here to Tom Bolch. So there's plenty of feeling, plenty of niggle in this game as the ball comes back to Tom Bolch, and what would have been a clearance to the Demons and perhaps an inside 50 turns into an inside 50 for the Hornets. Tom Highmore comes out to meet it, and Tom Highmore takes another strong mark. He's had another good day down back for the Canberra Demons. That would have been his 7th mark there. The acting captain with Aaron Bruce out with a fractured arm. Highmore's kick is a good one. It's marked by Owen Orban. He's got Moline running on. He hand passes it to him. Lucas Moline goes off the right foot, kicks it deep inside 50 for Harry Carr. Carr lets it bounce. Carr will come in, and Carr toe pokes it through for a goal.
A little bit of soccer skill.
They might just have done enough, the Canberra Demons. 2 goals for Harry Carr. And they're in a pretty steady and comfortable position here, the Canberra side.
I've seen a couple of those toe pokey type goals in the game this afternoon. And the Canberra Demons, they are closing in on the century mark. They're 5 points short, 14-11-95. Aspley 10-8-68, and that's a 4.5 goal lead. 6.5 minutes gone in the last quarter. Certainly not out of Aspley's reach, but getting there now. It's almost as though they're the 3-year-old trying to reach the cuppa on the bench as opposed to the 5-year-old. Lucas
Maline's been very impressive this afternoon, Chris. 16 disposals, but also 5 inside 50s, or make that 6 inside 50s with that kick there. One of his best games for the season, and he's had a really good past month or so, the man from Leeton in the Riverina. We get a centre bounce. Paik and Spencer to go at it again. Spencer just thumps it forward, trying to go for distance there. Coming off the forward 50 was Murphy to lay a tackle, but the ball ends up with Maline. Now it comes to Richardson, who gives it to Smout. Smout kicks inside 50 towards Mitch Hardy, who marks it on the chest.
Set himself strongly there, Hardy. He'll take all the time in the world here, all the time he's allowed.
And I think the benefit of having a taller target there near him in Adam Kanash was that Kanash also drew a defender. And that made life a little bit easier for the very dangerous Mitch Hardy. He'll line up from directly in front. He'll kick from perhaps 35 or 40 metres out to give the Canberra Demons an almost unchaseable lead. He's put it through. They're pretty happy about things now, the Canberra Demons. Mitch Hardy kicks the goal. His teammates come to congratulate him. And that's a real steadier as the Demons bring up the century. They're 15-11, 101. Aspley still stuck on 10-8, 68.
Just having a look for Adam Kanash's numbers for the course of the afternoon. He's only had the one kick across the course of the day, and he's only got the one ball get as well for the afternoon and given away a free kick. His value today, though, has been, as you said there, he's been a tall target down there, and I think he's been very cleverly used by Cade Klemke as a decoy. He's down there, he's the big man, but it's been getting down there. He's drawn one, sometimes two defenders from Aspley away from the contest and other players for Canberra, and there's been plenty of them have benefited from his presence down there and been able to get themselves on the score sheet.
Yeah, I think both Kanash and Corbett playing important roles. It's been Corbett who's gotten on the scoreboard with 3 goals, but Kanash has played his part as well. Harry Carr bursts out of the middle. It's a bit of a celebration perhaps now for the Demons. Hardy back with the flight, can't mark. Here's Corbett, goal number 4.
Well played, Riley Corbett too. Almost ran himself into trouble, managed to get out of it, puts it on the outside of the right boot. And he's got 4 for the day, 2 in the first, 1 in the third, and 1 in the last. And well, it's back out to close to a 40-point game. 39 the margin. Canberra 16-11, 107. Aspley 10-8, 68, 9.5 gone. They're
pulling out the party tricks now, the Canberra Demons, to celebrate Jack Powell's 50th match and the final home game for a couple of their retiring NEAFL players in Ben House and Sam Martin. I think they're going to enjoy the next 20 minutes or so as they hold what is now a pretty decisive lead over the Hornets. And for Aspley, some real work to do. A big match for them next week. I believe they're playing Sydney Uni, and ladder position now very important as we get towards the NEAFL finals series. But the Demons will be pretty happy to have spoilt the party a bit for Aspley, so to speak. Centre bounce. Carr going up against Spencer this time. Spencer wins it down. Aspley just going to throw caution to the wind, I suspect, over the next 20 minutes or so. They get it inside 50. Highmore with the spoil. He's under pressure from Connor Stackelberg. The ball's knocked out towards Stackelberg, but Angus Baker does well to kick the Demons clear of defensive 50 for the time being. Running onto it there was Maline. Tries to hand pass to Evans, missed him. Evans tries to go and get it, but Hayden got there first. Hayden's hand pass couldn't find a target. It's picked up by Carr. Tries to get out of trouble, gets some sort of a kick away. The ball will end up again with Lucas Maline. He gives it off to Harper. Harper runs beyond halfway, kicks inside 50 towards Corbett, and Corbett takes the mark.
Well, he'll be lining up for goal number 5. And, well, you talked about the party tricks, Eddie. It'll be a decent one if he can do it. He'll be kicking from just on the 50. And on a fairly decent angle. There is no breeze here at all this afternoon. Maybe just a little bit blowing towards the camera, but that's about it.
Well, he's had party tricks. We've talked about the party pies out at Ganmain. Of course, Riley Corbett, recruited from the Ganmain Grong Grong Matong Lions. He'll kick from just outside the 50. It's across the face. It stays in play. Mitch Hardy out of midair. His kick won't score. It rolls over the boundary line. We're going to throw it inside 50 for Canberra, and that would have been a party trick as well.
Would have indeed. Next week's NEAFL draw, interesting stuff all around. Southport host Sydney Uni next week, and Aspley, well, they've got the Thunder paying a visit to Vauxhall Oval, so they'll be looking at a bit of percentage. Not that that's going to make any difference, but that's Sydney Uni Southport game. What a game that's going to be next week. Ball back in play here now, and it's the Demons trying to get it out from the bottom of the pile. It's wound up in the chest of Smout. Smout tries to get a kick away. Kick was sort of smothered. Goes to Craven now for the Hornets as he zigzags left, right, and does get boot to ball. Sends it up the field. Pake tries to get there for Canberra. He's a little bit too slow, but this time it goes around. Finds up with Spina. Spina sends it back to a teammate, almost gets it back himself. Instead it winds up with Pake, sends the ball in towards centre half forward. Soccering kick off the ground, goes straight to Connor Owen Orban. He doesn't score many goals, but I reckon he's got one here. Oh, he has. And the Demons, they open it up now in a big way. They're looking for a 50-point break and possibly even more. Connor Owen Orban gets his first for the afternoon. And Canberra move on to 17-11, 113. Aspley 10-8, 68. And what's that for Canberra? 4 goals to start this final term in about 12 minutes.
Well, a few hands on hips for Aspley at the moment, but Canberra just playing with an unbelievable amount of freedom today. And you see it so often. Once a team is virtually out of finals contention, they're able to just play the way they want to play. They don't have to stress about anything, and they looked like they were having fun in the warm-up. I think they've enjoyed the physicality of today's game. They've, again, been dominant in the tackles, 73 tackles to 52. That's despite having a lot more of the ball, 310 disposals to 263. So they've just had a lot of fun today, the Canberra Demons, and I think they're going to enjoy singing the song in the Manuka Oval rooms after this match. Spencer wins another decisive hit out, but it's gone straight to Moline, who gives it to Pake, who gives it to Smout. Smout kicks inside 50. It's towards Jack Powell. He can't hold on to the mark. Running away with the footy was Stanley, the late inclusion. Puts it into the path of Castle Dean. Got the hand pass away just in time there to Mason. Mason gives the hand pass back. Takes a bounce there as they work the outer side here, the Hornets. The kick is towards half forward. It's off the hands. Now it comes inside 50, and coming into mark on the chest is James Nellis directly in front of goal.
James Nellis had a relatively quiet afternoon.
It'll only be his second kick. That was a nice passage of play, though.
It was a nice passage of play from the Hornets, and they've got plenty of speed. They'll still trouble other sides in the finals here, Ed.
James Nellis kicks from just outside the paint of 50. That one will be across the face, off the hands, and through for a behind. So the Hornets 10-9, 69. Trail Canberra 17-11, 113.
Martin has the pill now, just inside the 50. Looks up, he's got a couple of teammates and winds up getting it back. Goes for a secondary kick up the ground. There's nobody inside the forward 50 at the moment, so we'll wait and see who can stream down and get in front of it. Powell's in short. They don't look for him. Corbett, well, no real surprise. He's had 4 for the afternoon, and I don't think he'll have too much trouble with this one.
And it was Kanash that got it to him, and he hasn't had a lot of the ball, Adam Kanash, but a nice mark there over on the outer side, and a nice kick into Riley Corbett. And I guess we're getting a good idea of how Canberra's forward setup may look in years to come.
Well, Corbett has 4 for the afternoon. He's on a fairly acute angle. Gives himself actually plenty of distance to get the ball over the man on the mark. Almost gets it over the top of the goalposts. It is through for a major. He's got 5. And Riley Corbett, well, I tell you what, the Demons could do worse than to look at him as a true full forward and spearhead in future years.
This has been an incredibly disappointing final quarter from Aspley. They've managed just 1 goal through the first 15 minutes, while the Demons have piled on, what's that, Chris? 5 of their own.
5 straight.
You've got to wonder about Aspley at three-quarter time. Surely they were revved up. They knew this was an important quarter in the course of their season, and they just haven't been able to perform the way they would have liked to. Whereas Canberra, as we say, with all this freedom, all this momentum, have just taken the game well and truly out of their grasp.
Ball down in the middle of the ground, and Pake wins the ruck. Chases after it himself, can't quite get there. It's his opposite number. I think it was Hayden who got in there and took the pill. He handed it over to a teammate who was immediately tackled, and we'll get yet another secondary ball up in the still inside the centre square. Spencer gets himself in the front, taps it down, but this time it's a shark there by Sam Martin, who's in the new jersey. That was Moline, actually, who got the kick away. Apologies, but it's been cut off by the Hornets. Now sending it forward is Stackelberg, goes into the middle of the ground, has a teammate there in Henderson. Henderson finds Hayden. Hayden goes for a bounce, sends the ball over towards right half forward. Canberra starting to get in front. It was the man in front was Baker, but I think is it Murphy who's got in there again for the Hornets? It is. He's found real nuisance value in a number of contests this afternoon, and that doesn't show up on the stats sheet. The number of times you spoil the opponent, but he's done very, very well. And we'll get another ball up here because as soon as it was grabbed in the ruck contest there by Spencer, he was grabbed and the ball was held to him. Ball goes high in the air. Pake manages to actually push off Spencer, taps it down. Good little bit of physical body work there, and the ball comes out. Pake tries to run over the top there of Arnold, and the umpire says, "I'm going to ball it up one more time."
It's like a wall, Alex Pake.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to run into him, and I would like it even less if he ran into me.
He goes up against Jake Spencer in the ruck here. Probably got the hit out there, Pake. Couldn't find a teammate, and the Hornets will go inside 50 again. Chasing after the footy there is Martin, who gathers. He's taken over the boundary line. It'll be thrown in the forward pocket for Aspley, just near one of those corporate tents, which was put up for the inaugural cricket test match here in February and has since remained. And I think they use it throughout the Aussie rules games as well, adding a bit of extra space, a bit of extra corporate space at Manuka Oval. Pake and Spencer in ruck again at this boundary throw. And inside 50 for Aspley. Nearly 18 minutes played in the quarter. Pake got a hit out, but I don't think he knew too much about it. The Demons will get a kick out of defence towards the wing, towards Corbett. Bounces away from him. Harper's chasing after it. Has to lay a tackle. The Hornets regain the footy. Everyone's in their forward half of the ground. And Angus Baker couldn't quite hold on to that mark, but does well to follow up. Kicks the Demons clear of defensive 50. Only for the time being, though. The mark's been taken there. It might be Jack Stanley, the late inclusion, who's marked it on the outer wing. In front of a group of fans there over on the Manuka Oval Hill in the sun this afternoon. Stanley's kick goes inside 50. Owen Orban went in hard, and he'll win the footy. Connor Owen Orban gives it off there to Maguire, who kicks beyond the wing. Kanash trying to run onto it, but the ball went out of play. We'll get a boundary throw in outer side between wing and half forward for the Demons.
There are very few players forward of the ball for Canberra at the moment, and you can see players rushing up to try and get on that attacking side of the ball. Umpire takes a little bit of time. Ruckman have nominated for the contest. So who's Pake going up against? I think he's actually going up against Nellis, James Nellis. It is. And I don't think either of them can really claim to have got a hand on that. The kick is one of the less spectacular we've seen across the course of the day, and it goes out of bounds on the full. The Hornets will wind up with the ball, and they take their time to decide who will return the play. I think now that the margin's reached 50, both sides have decided maybe a little bit to put the cue slightly in the rack and just get through the remainder of the day. Henderson had that kick. It was into the path of Stackelberg, Connor Stackelberg, who was interfered with on his way through. Stackelberg to get the free. Centre wing, far side of Manuka Oval, UNSW Canberra Oval here at Manuka. Ball goes into the forward 50 for the Aspley Hornets, and James Nellis has shown some speed to get down there. Take the unopposed mark, puts the ball in towards the goal square, but Angus Baker reads it best. Takes the mark deep in defence for his team. The Demons, and they rebound, go back outside the 50. Round in front of the scoreboard, ball goes to ground. Hot contest. Connor Stackelberg, the man who influences the contest the best, and we see the ball go into the path of Murphy. He flies to try and mark it, can't do so. Could have been a throw there. Canberra continue to play. Baker can't get a handle on it. Ball back in underneath the pack, and the umpire will ball it up. About 30 around from the Hornets goal.
So another stoppage inside 50 for Aspley. They've been able to lock the ball inside their forward half the ground over the past couple of minutes. We're into time on. Final quarter action here at Manuka. And it's the Canberra Demons, quite unbelievably, with a 50-point lead over Aspley. Boundary throw-in. It's knocked forward the Hornets' way, but Tom Highmore does well to gather. Goes with a hurried kick. It's out into space. It bounces towards Reece Pollock, but it's taken by Arnold. Arnold off the right. A nice kick, a precision pass. And that'll set up a shot on goal to Jordan Hayden.
they've shuffled a few players around, I think, the Hornets. I'm not sure whether it's an attempt to try and just get a few points back on the board or whether it's to try a few things differently leading into the finals. And Hayden up in the forward line now.
So he goes with a right foot drop punt. Looks pretty straight. Looks like a goal. The recruit from Glenorchy in Tasmania gets on the scoreboard and he trims the margin to 44 points.
Canberra Demons 18, 11, 119. Aspley moved to 11, 9, 75. We're into time on here. Final quarter of the final home game for the Canberra Demons for season 2019 in this NEAFL campaign. And Eddie, we should probably take a moment here just to reflect a little bit on the season that has been for the Canberra Demons, because I remember we talked about it very early in the year when we watched a couple of games that they lost by very narrow margins. And we wondered at that stage, at the early stage of the season, would it come back to bite them? And I think we can safely say the answer to that, they're going to finish maybe half a game out of the finals race. The answer to that is yes, it has come back to bite them.
Yeah, a season of missed opportunities for the Canberra Demons. It started pretty well with a win at home over the Gold Coast, but a narrow loss to Southport by a goal on Good Friday. We saw a narrow loss to the Giants at Phillip Oval on a Friday night.
That was really a game that they would have had in their sights as a win.
And some big losses to Queensland teams, particularly against this team, Aspley, and also against Redland up in Queensland, and obviously a big loss to the Brisbane Lions. As most teams have experienced, Adam Kanash is hoping to experience a goal here, and his family and friends are pretty pleased about it. He's worked hard today. He's got a mark inside 50, and Adam Kanash will be lining up the big sticks.
Kanash can convert here. He'll be I think the 11th goal scorer for Canberra. 4, 6, 8, 10, or possibly even the 12th. He will indeed be the 12th goal scorer if he can do it. He leans back, and I think he's leaned back a little bit too far and got himself off balance when he's kicked it. He has missed it to the right, to the far side for him. Canberra move on to 18, 12, 120.
Just going through those tight Canberra Demons games, obviously the tightest of all was the draw with Sydney Uni at Phillip Oval, and then a couple of weeks back a fairly narrow loss impacted by injuries against Sydney Uni up at Blacktown. So a season of missed opportunities. If they'd been able to convert 2 or even 1 of those losses or draws into a win, we could be talking about a Canberra Demons side taking some momentum into the finals series. Instead, they'll be wrapping up their season next week with an away trip up to take on Redland. Mitch Hardy has the ball inside 50. He's tackled. We'll get a ball up. Forward 50 for the Canberra Demons, who have been a pretty high-scoring team, particularly here at Manuka. They kicked a cricket score against the NT Thunder a few weeks ago, and they've kicked, well, if you look at the England-Ireland test a few weeks ago, they've well and truly exceeded a cricket score again today. They've reached 120 as the ball is in the hands of Connor Owen Auburn, who takes an intercept mark on centre wing.
Yeah, this Canberra side, there's plenty of good signs, and next year I think they're going to take away what they should have done this season off the back of a grand final appearance last season, and there'll be plenty to like about this Canberra Demons side in season 2020 in the NEAFL. Could be a holding the ball call, could be in the back. Umpire decides the smart thing to do is to allow play on, and the Hornets will try and get the ball out. That's Henderson who has it for them now. His possession is ineffective, and in fact he winds up getting a second crack at it. Goes for a fairly decent run, gets the kick away just as he runs his measure. No, I think he may have actually gone.
It's a
downfield free kick, so he's got to push as he's let the kick go. So now that's Mason who is trying to hang on to it, but he's lost control of the ball, and now we'll see the Canberra Demons. Well, they go inside the forward 50 one more time. Kanash may have been the target. Ball was ill-directed. Hayden sends it clear, gets it up towards Blake Nellis. Now a rebound kick, and they go further up the ground. Still with no one able to get any clear possession on it. Ball comes in, ball goes out, ball comes back in, umpire comes in, and Nick McGuinness, he's found a free kick, and I reckon that might be for a little bit of high contact, and so the Hornets will come up with it now via Blake Nellis as he runs into the middle of the ground, sends it forward, finds Murphy. Murphy wheels around to his right, then goes to his left, then goes to his right, tries to step around Guy Richardson, does so, gives it back to Blake Nellis. Nellis is tackled immediately as he gets the ball just outside the 50. And the umpire will come back in and we'll get a ball up. 50 out from the Hornets goal. 26-minute mark approaches.
The way the Canberra Demons have been able to shut down Matthew Payne has been a real factor in this match. One of the NEAFL's all-time greats, a 3-time NEAFL MVP, 10-time Aspley best and fairest. He's averaged 29 disposals and 7 clearances per game over the past month, 7 inside 50s as well. Today, Matthew Payne has been restricted to just 11 disposals as the Hornets go inside 50 again, and that is a nice mark, and that'll be a shot on goal here to the Hornets. It's been taken there by Brandon Batchelor, and he'll go back and kick from 35 metres out on a slight angle.
The Batchelor. Who will he have a rose for? Hasn't got himself on the score sheet as a goal kicker today, but this one, having positioned himself well, should be a fairly comfortable shot.
You won't have to be an astrophysicist to work out the angles on this one. Brandon Batchelor off the right, brings it home, kicks the goal. A consolation goal for the Aspley Hornets. That's their 12th. They're 12-9-81. Canberra, 18-12, 120.
What about a Gemini? Ball back in the middle of the park, and we're at 27 minutes gone in this final term. And Canberra still ringing the changes as Angus Baker comes back on, replacing Ben House. So
another good day for Baker. 20 disposals, 5 tackles, 4 marks, 7 inside 50s, 3 rebound 50s, doing his draft chances no harm at all.
A really exciting young player for this Canberra side. There are a number of good players around. I mean, we look at it, and you compare this Canberra Demon side to maybe a couple of seasons back, Eddie, and there were some players there you maybe put some question marks over. The Demons have stuck with them, and they are starting to produce week in, week out. Batchelor gets the goal, then takes the ball out of the middle. A couple of passes, and it winds up with Tom Belch. Belch sends the ball forward once again for the Hornets. Highmore does well to push his opponent under the ball. Connor Stackelberg comes through, turns around, but a mark taken deep in defence by Owen Orban. He'll bring the ball back in, looked to go around this side, changed his mind. Went the other way, gave it back to Highmore. Now Highmore slows things down, so we're at the 28-minute mark here, and I think Canberra have decided maybe enough is enough here. Can't be too much longer left in this, although we said that in the second quarter, and we wound up getting another 12 minutes out of it. The ball going around the far side of the ground, the target there for Canberra, I think it was Harper. But the ball has gone past him, now he winds up with it. Goes by foot into forward territory. Pollock is there. He's outside the forward 50. He's only got one man to put it into the path of, and that man is Mitch Hardy. Hardy tries to take the mark in the crook of his arm as he goes to ground, but he can't. He's been pushed away, and the Hornets will rebound. They come around the grandstand side. This is Batchelor again. Goes for a bounce. Can probably go for a second one, or maybe not now that he's had to juggle it a little bit. Sends the ball forward. Bit of body work. Good work there from Payne to push off Owen Orban. Owen Orban, though, continues to contest the ball, and it winds up going over the boundary line, 70 around from the Hornets' goal.
This will be just the second time that the Canberra Demons have ever beaten Aspley. It's likely to be their biggest win over the Hornets. They have beaten them once before by 33 points. And it'll be their first win against Aspley at home here in Canberra. The ball to be thrown back in. Near half forward for Aspley. Paik shielding his eyes from the sun. Spencer gets in front of him. Didn't really get much onto it, that one, Jake Spencer, but enough for Mason to dish the hand pass off to Henderson, who goes inside 50. Vardaniga back with the flight. Couldn't take the mark. Ball is picked up there, then it's very quickly back on the ground. A lot of pressure around this contest, a lot of bodies on the ground. We will eventually get a ball up 40 metres out directly in front of the Aspley goal. 39-point lead to the Canberra Demons as we approach the half-hour mark in this final quarter. The shadows from the light towers starting to cross the ground. The umpire throws it up. Spencer with another hit out, but Moline gets the hand pass forward to Harper. Harper gives it back to Moline. Moline has one bounce. He can have a second. He can probably have a third if he likes. He does.
Probably
Will
have
he
a
do
fourth.
a fourth? Yep, that's 4. 5? No, 5's too many. Gives it off to Smout. Smout, a little bit hesitant. Gives it back there to Martin. Martin kicks inside 50. No mark to Kanash. It spills to Harper. Harper to Powell for a second goal in his 50th game. Jack Powell, easy as you like.
Well, end-to-end stuff. All off the back of a half marathon run by Lucas Moline in there. And I'm with you, Eddie. I still reckon he could have gone for a 5th bounce, but all's well that ends well. Got a little bit clumsy at centre half forward for a moment, but Powell, well, he'll be very happy with the result for his 50th game this afternoon. And this Canberra side, they are doing it quite comfortably. The lead is now out to 45 points and 31 minutes gone. You can't imagine they'll have too much time to try and get it back on the north side of 50, but it has been out there a couple of times today, and yeah, they'll be looking at next season already, this Canberra side, in the knowledge that they've been able to push several of this year's finalists to very close results, and in a couple of occasions take the opposition who'll be playing September footy to the cleaners.
And we thought they might tire after that big effort in the first half, but they still appear to be full of energy. The Canberra Demons, well, Aspley just looking a little bit lethargic perhaps as this game makes its conclusion. The ball was taken there by Cody Stackelberg. Kick went off the side of his boot. Ended up with Maguire. Gives it to Moline, who has another bounce. Kicks inside 50. Kicks into the pocket. It'll set up okay for Jack Powell. He just slipped at an unfortunate moment. Knocks it forward towards Kanash. The ball stays inside the field of play. Powell's on the ground. The ball will bounce there okay for Corbett. Corbett's tackled though. He loses the ball. Aspley will be able to work this one out through Blake Nellis. Although he might get chased down, he has to get a move on. Has a bounce, it sort of came back to him. Then he gave the hand pass backwards, and finally a relieving kick, but only briefly, because Canberra have won the footy again in defence. Owen Orban marks inside defensive 50, kicks it for Pollock. Pollock takes the mark. They're still inside defensive 50 of the Demons. We've gone more than 32 minutes. Angus Baker takes yet another mark. He's got Smout on short. And how fitting that Angus Baker ends up with the final mark, the final possession of the Canberra Demons' final home game for season 2019. He's been a standout player for them this season. And Canberra finish up comfortable winners today. 126-81 is the final score, a 45-point win to the Canberra Demons, and they take some momentum into next week's final match against Redland, and then I suppose into season 2020. Indeed.
Having a look across the day, it's a remarkably consistent performance by Canberra in terms of the amount of work they did across the day. But the win coming off the back of a very, very strong first quarter where they had 58 kicks. They really went long by foot in the first quarter and then turned it around, stepped up the handballs. We'll just go through this quarter by quarter, Ed, as they start to make their way off the ground, or the umpires make their way off the ground. Canberra, quarter by foot, 58 kicks in the first, 49 in the second, 45 in the third, 51 in the final term. But here's the hand passes. 25, just 25 in the first term, but then 46, 45 and 42. So they went in physical and hard in the first term and then turned it to the finesse and the speed in the second, third and fourth. And really never, despite a couple of physical challenges by the Hornets, they never really looked like being headed off at the pass. Who were the goal scorers for today?
Chris Riley Corbett, the main goal scorer, with 5 for the Canberra Demons, 2 to Jack Powell, 2 to Tom Fall, 2 to Harry Carr, singles to Connor Owen Orban, Mitch Maguire, Mitch Hardy, Guy Richardson, Reece Pollock, Lucas Moline. For Aspley, it was 3 to Connor Stackelberg, singles to Jordan Hayden, Daniel Henderson, Cody Stackelberg, Brandon Batchelor, a couple for William Murphy, who was impressive this afternoon, Jake Spencer with a goal as well, so too Jonathan Freeman and Jack Lipscomb. In the other matches, which are completed in NEAFL round 20, Redland started well and ended well, but just couldn't quite overcome Sydney Uni. The Students getting the job done by 19 points up at Scottsdale Park, and the Gold Coast Suns finishing with a 35-point win over the Sydney Swans.
There are 2 games remaining in NEAFL round 20. Tonight at TIO Stadium, it's the NT Thunder up against Southport, and then tomorrow afternoon, or late tomorrow morning, into the early afternoon, the Giants and the Brisbane Lions as the curtain raiser to the Giants game at Giants Stadium. That means that as things stand with the 3 Saturday afternoon games complete, here is your NEAFL ladder at the moment. Brisbane remain on top and they won't be headed. They are 16 from 16. Southport now sits second. They have 11 wins and 5 losses. They are 1 game clear of the Sydney Swans. How crucial could that loss for the Sydney Swans this afternoon have been? If they turned that into a win, they could have been looking at second place. But I would suspect now that the Swans will find themselves in third going into the finals. They have played 17 games, 10 wins and 7 losses. They're half a game ahead of Sydney Uni, who have 9 wins and 7 losses and a draw, who are then half a game ahead of Aspley, who have 9 wins and 8 losses, who are then on the same number of wins at the moment as the Giants, who have played but 16 games. And the Giants, well, they go up against Brisbane tomorrow, and if they can spring an upset, they'll find themselves knocking on the door of the top 2. So still plenty to go, Eddie. But for us in the regular season, That's it as far as commentary duties are concerned for this afternoon.
We've had a lot of fun commentating the Canberra Demons matches here at Monica, at Phillip, at Ainslie, and even a trip up the highway to Blacktown. Chris, it's been a pleasure. We've had a lot of fun, and I hope we do it again next year.
I hope we do it again next year, and you never know, we might get a call for the finals too. We'll just see how it all plays out. But Eddie, it has been a pleasure to work with you, and a pleasure to work with all our friends from Bar TV and all the people from the NEAFL and all the clubs who've visited, who've been tremendously helpful to us, and we say a big thank you as well for their help to the Canberra Demons. But on behalf of everyone who's been involved in the NEAFL broadcasts out of Canberra for season 2019, we say thank you very much for watching right across the course of the year, and we will catch up with you again down the track, and all the best to all the teams taking part in the finals.